Welcome, everyone.
It's Tuesday night. It's Warhammer wine, and I've got boxed wine. Do 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 do.
I do not.
Jazz hands.
I am drinking a Gothic Cabernet.
Hmm. Oh, I
Nice.
can hear myself. I gotta mute that.
I'm drinking my very expensive bottle of water. It wasn't expensive.
Oh, look at you being healthy.
Nice. Yeah. I
This
just
is
had,
Is
the
have
this
you
is
have you
the
seen his
I
face?
just
He's
had
got like this
McDonald's. I
little
just had
Oh,
McDonald's.
okay, fair enough.
this is the OGOR tribes
Yeah.
coverage. You're not allowed to be healthy.
Well, he just said he had McDonald's, so
I
there you
just
go.
had
You
McDonald's.
you should
Yeah.
have been eating chicken nuggies when you're talking about ogres.
I
That's
just
what you need to be
scarfed it
doing.
down.
That's
I
fine.
watched the second to last episode of Book of Boba Fett with my kid, and then our internet went out.
Oh, is that because of the snow?
That's a good way
For
I
to
those
start.
that don't
yeah
know,
I
we in the Pacific Northwest currently right now have snow.
yeah yeah we're expecting to
Ooh.
get 20 to 25 centimeters tonight,
Yeah.
which
And
is a
that's just in
lot
the
for here.
bedroom.
Which is why I went to the store this morning and brought the professionals of bread,
Yeah,
milk, and wine. That'll see me through the rest of the week. I'll be fine.
I had to take my son and my mom to get a haircut, and it was snowing so hard that we were just like, we're not going anywhere from here. I bought dog food because it was like right next door, and then we got McDonald's because we just didn't want to go
Nice.
anywhere else. It was like literally on the other corner. Yeah.
So I've actually started painting again this week. So for the last kind of month or two, since the Pacific Northwest Masters, I've kind of been on a I wouldn't say a non-hobby bend, but just kind of like not been doing
I
anything because I've
think
not
you've been
got
on a
anything to.
dark tide bend.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's a
it's
separate issue
definitely
we'll come
got a
to in a
dark
minute.
type
Yeah,
bend.
so I've watched I binge watched Andor, which is an amazing series. I also binge watched Wednesday, the
Okay.
Addams Family Netflix series, which is actually pretty good. While painting Trogoths, so I'm currently painting my six 3D printed Trogoths
Nice.
to try and get those up. So they're probably about halfway done. But it's been nice to do that, like actually start painting again, because I was
Totally.
putting it off. And yes, as because Alex said, I have been on a dark hybrid. So basically, Roman, because I was at the time unemployed, brought me Dark Tide early for Christmas, so I'd play it with him. Um, and then I was like, okay, so it's on a beta right now, and they're letting us carry our characters over to the thing. I just binged as much as I could, and got my character to the kind of max level. So then when I start work again, it's like, hey, I have a max character. I don't have to worry about catching up with people.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, let me know because it would be fun to play it together. Uh,
oh yeah, I mean, I've got like I've made one of every class, and I've only
nice.
done one character to level 30.
Okay.
Another one's level 7, and the other two are level 2. So like,
Cool.
whenever you guys want to play, like I said to Alex as well, because he was waiting for the full game to come out tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
Because the full game comes out tomorrow. Like it's only been they're releasing a little bit at a time, but like everything's released tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah.
And some of the new additions, like if you guys are like people that are watching are not necessarily they've maybe played hey Keith,
Yo, Keith.
played like Vermintide or something. Dark Tide is like so far a lot of fun
Hmm.
It's
because
yeah.
you have the different level missions, you have the different characters, there's the differences there. But the thing I like about it is the stuff that they add in. So there's like sometimes they'll add in like everything's foggy. And recently they added in that everything's dark. So for the first 2 weeks, my friend was Roman again was joking about the fact his las gun has a flashlight, and it's like, haha, it's a double las gun because it's got a flashlight kind of thing. But then they introduced this mission where everything's black and you need your flashlight, and it suddenly becomes a point of where it's like, oh, that's actually really useful to have.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's a lot of fun. I really recommend it. I never got into Vermintide until like a month ago.
Vermintide is amazing, and that is one of the best supported games I've literally ever
Yeah,
seen. So much free content and paid content, but like, I think like at least half of it was free, and
yeah,
it's like whole new game like systems, like stuff that you would just never expect. Yeah, the gameplay's really tight in Dark Tide. I'm only my best character, highest character is I've got a psyker that's level 4 and a zealot that's level 4,
yep.
but I've created one of each, and
Well, what we could do is we'll do it, just sort out a night where we're free, and we can get Alex, me, you, and we'll get someone else on, and we'll
that sounds
play some
dope.
Dark Tide.
Let's do it.
We could even stream it or something, you know.
I will try and figure that out.
Well, as I was saying to Rob when me and Rob were playing last night,
Yeah.
somehow Dark Tide actually has less shooting in it than the new Ogres book.
Yes. I think I made that joke, but I can't remember exactly what happened. You guys will see it on the battle.
Hey,
board.
RL.
It's crazy. It's
I brought a
think
very
it's a good
greedy
game.
list.
What's that?
I brought a very greedy list.
Okay.
And
So-
and I
Greedy for
may have
cash.
psyched Rob out a bit before the game started.
No, that's not
To-
true.
To touch on a YouTube comment quickly, Keith just said, watching Dark Tide play has been fun to see the Beast of Nurgle from perspective of a small group of disposable humans. So on that, the first time I came across the Beast of Nurgle, it was literally like we walked around the corner and it ran at us and everyone just panicked and ran away. And like I got eaten like 4 times. And it was just like an hilarious moment of no one knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And it was just suddenly this like, what the hell is that? But then it's like one of those things of where like the 7th time you play a Beast of Nurgle, especially as the Zealot, it's like, it's mine, and I'll just like run at it. So
Just
it's like a very big learning curve.
time
But
for
yeah,
fire.
I totally get that. It's like the first time you face a demon host as well, and
See-
you're just constantly hearing it talking in your ears before
That's
you find
cool.
it.
Yeah.
And then as you get
Oh, is
closer, you're
that why sometimes you hear talking in your ears?
yes.
Is that a
So
demon
that
host?
they recently added it.
Oh, because
and
I
as you-
was hearing that in one of my games.
Yes.
And we never fought a demon host.
So
But I was
basically,
hearing it.
the demon hosts are in one place or sometimes in multiple places, but they're weaker, and they'll only activate if you find it or you put a flashlight on it.
Right.
It doesn't like spawn in like it does with like the other ones. But as you get closer, you start hearing more and more voices, but also your screen starts getting this like frost effect around the sides, and it's so cool when it happens because it's like, especially when you're doing it. Yeah, it's like the Witch in Left 4 Dead.
See,
RL said.
I have a second monitor which tends to be playing content like music or YouTube or something. And when I first started hearing it, I just thought I was going mad.
Yeah.
Well, a little from column A.
Because
little from column B.
like I'm there playing, shooting, stabbing, that sort of thing. I'm starting to hear voices, and I'm just there like looking at my other monitor, like
It's really well
this
done.
is not that content. Like
Yeah.
there is no way what's going on in that monitor reflects what I'm hearing in my headset.
And especially when you're playing it in that dark setting and you just start hearing those voices, you're like, what the hell is this? Like, I have no idea what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'm off to go play Dark Tide.
Yeah,
Bye, guys.
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's the thing. So luckily it's down today because it comes out full release tomorrow, so it's on maintenance.
Oh,
So it's
really?
kind of like I was going to play it a lot today, but then it's down for
So
maintenance.
that's
tomorrow.
why Dale's back on the show.
So that's why I'm
Yeah,
back on
that's
the
the
show.
only reason he's willing
down.
to do the show.
Right.
Yeah, I actually played it a little bit. I played it more last night than I ever had, and I think I did like 3 missions. But I just haven't had time.
So RL in the chat, by the way, is actually Roman. So hi,
Oh,
Roman.
yo, Roman. Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been playing a lot of Dark Tide with him recently.
I just thought it was an esteemed author.
I had no idea it was him because
Yeah.
I was like, you can't really tell from the picture either. So I was like, oh, okay.
Nice.
He just messaged me.
That's awesome. Well, I guess we should maybe talk about Age of Sigmar.
Nah.
Yes. So
Nobody plays that game.
yeah, because like by the rumor mill, that's very Age of Sigmar. Yeah, unless something's going on with Caradron Overlords.
Yeah, this looks like Age of Sigmar for sure. This is the new plastic jetpack guys for replacing Sky Wardens finally.
Oh, are you guys talking about the rumor engine?
Hopefully,
Yes.
they're gonna replace Sky Wardens with a scroll that's worth a damn.
I think that's AdMech. It just looks so
Yeah, it probably is.
freaking funky. I kind of hope not, but it reminds me a little bit of those refrigerator robots. I forget what they're called. I never owned any, even though I owned AdMech.
I think I saw something on maybe Reddit or something where somebody was like, "Oh, we've solved this,"
Oh, really? That
and
doesn't
like it was a
surprise me.
40k model covered in like jets and jetpacks and that.
Oh,
I
that
think
makes
it might
sense.
be. Yeah.
It looks like there's green stuff though, eh? Like holding it together.
Mm,
Like it doesn't look. I mean, I know that this is way zoomed in because you can literally see the pigments on the crappy GW metal paint, but still, like, yo, Dan,
you
did you
need to
finish your
grind
hockey
your
game?
metallics more.
Yeah, it's kind of broken.
Um, yeah, that connection point is a bit dodgy.
It is. It looks kind of ugly. Like it doesn't look like it's on purpose, but again, I don't know. Whatever.
Props to the heavy metal team for their consistent edge highlighting, though. That's
It is
something
amazing.
I learned to do when I started painting,
Yeah.
and I don't think I've done it since.
Hmm.
It just takes so much time,
It
and
takes up a lot of time.
that's just not part of my my painting standard, which is to apparently drop a 2,000 point army out every couple of weeks.
Get stuff done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good at that for sure. Okay, so there isn't too much to talk about other than this rumor engine, which is clearly not something we care about.
Yeah. And also kind of speculation where, like, do we think we'll get a general's handbook come January?
Ooh.
Yes, I hope so.
Because
I
I've been
hope so,
hearing
too.
from a lot of different people saying that they haven't like previewed it or anything, but there is going to be something come January. So
Honestly, like I feel like last time they were just like, here it is, like it was like Thondia's coming, and then it was like 1 week later, it's like Thondia's coming, and like
But
officially.
it could also be like late January, so
It might
we
be.
also haven't had, because sometimes we get the Christmas FAQ as well, where they do the updates and points and stuff. So
maybe
we
it'll come
may.
at the same time.
So what I was wondering is, instead of, I was kind of talking about it the other day. I think it was with Alex actually, or it might have been, where like could the second like half of the season be done as a scroll? But then again, if you think about a lot of the battle tactics and scenarios talk about Galatian veterans, so unless the second half of the season has still got Galatian veterans,
Yeah.
and they just changed the battalions, then they might have to redo the entire scenarios.
I mean, I'd be really happy if like a battle scroll just came out and just said, "Hey lads, for season 2, just delete those 2 battalions." There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would be
I'd
the same.
with that.
If they just turned around and season 2 was a change in the spell, which no one ever uses because no one remembers.
No, we can keep
and
that
the
spell.
2 battalions.
It's small
then-
and inoffensive because nobody even knows
it's the
what it
command
does.
ability.
It's just
both
it's just
of them.
like
I've never seen either of them used.
Yeah.
So here's the real question. Okay,
Yeah.
without looking it up, guys,
Get rid of
what
that.
does the spell do?
It
I
halves
think I know.
it halves the number of
Yeah.
models
they
in
count
the enemy
towards.
unit. Yeah.
Okay, and without
It's a
looking
7
it
to
up,
cast, I think.
what does the command ability do?
The command ability is really complicated.
Yeah,
like,
it's
it's
something
legitimately. It's like if you have Galatian veterans and you're
And it's like
facing
5 or
Galatian
less.
veterans on the charge, and they're like a certain
5 or
amount
less models or something.
wounds or less, then you can roll a dice and possibly do mortal wounds.
No.
Okay.
So I don't know the once in a blue moon on the 3rd Sunday of the 5th month, whatever.
Yeah.
But I do know that it makes you fight last.
That's what it was.
Yeah, but it's got it. Hang on, let me look it up.
But yeah, that was kind of my point. At least you know what the spell does.
Yeah.
Even though it never gets used.
Yeah.
You couldn't, like, you knew that the command ability was so overly complex that you didn't need to know anything about it.
Yeah.
And that's where your knowledge disappeared immediately. Like, that's how irrelevant that is.
It's true.
It's like with a hamster. And that's the weird thing as well, because season 1, you had the one that made monsters fight at their full profile. And that was used.
That was
I saw
that was
used
good.
a lot.
The spell of turning a hero into a monster was also awesome.
Yeah. So they were actually used. Well, season 2 it's just been like new.
I can definitely see Matthias using it.
I don't even think he's
hey,
used
Matthias.
it.
He said he's used it once or twice.
Bold Guy Games is saying that your sound level's a bit low, Ro.
Oh, is it? Sorry.
Yeah. I think the stocking cap is you because I'm bold and
Here you go. Okay. Overwhelming Assault. You can use this command ability at the end of your charge phase. The unit receives a command, must be Galician veterans and have 10 or more models. Pick one enemy unit within 1 inch of the unit and has a wound characteristic of 4 or less and roll a dice. If the roll is greater than the number of models in the enemy unit, the life strike. It's like the most.
Was this specifically designed so that Gut Rippers could make the new Vindicators or Paladins
Maybe.
from the Stormcast Eternals box fight last?
It's the most complicated and pointless ability I have. It's just, I think the thing is, it's like there's so many things you have to have for it to work, but you just stop reading halfway
and they
through.
can't be over a certain number of models, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, I mean,
you've got to be over a certain number of models.
Yeah, as Roman said, without the roll
characteristic, it's got to be in a certain person's charge phase. Like, jeez, I mean, I get that fight last is a good effect.
Honestly, though, you know what though? Honestly, I actually don't care if they have more command abilities that are lame, whatever that are lame. Like, honestly, I think the main problem with the only thing that really messes with this whole season is bounty hunters. Like, everything else is like, okay, so you don't get an extra spell.
This is the big one. I'm personally hoping that I don't know what the rule's called, but the rule that allows infantry to fight properly. You know, half inch.
Battle Brothers or something.
Yeah, I would like that to stay.
Yes. I want that to go on everything.
See, I don't think it will stay for the next GHB.
I don't think it will.
But I think it might come back when they do AOS 4.0.
I think the reason is because I think they're printing them like 6 months in advance.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they could, like, they're waiting for everyone to react to it, right? But yeah, just make it a battle scroll. New part of the rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't want bounty hunters to die a death, though.
Like
also, a quick thing as well before we start, just a side tangent completely.
Yeah.
Big congratulations to Matthias.
Yes.
For coming second at the Open Series.
Absolutely.
And actually doing really well without using a Kronspine.
If you guys want to see, if you want to hear and see Matthias talk about his journey and his tactics and all the Skaven goodness, as well as just his general like principles on list building, that was on last week's show, and it was really good. Like, Matthias is and he's such a good teacher. So
it's also the thing of like, maybe in hindsight I shouldn't have driven him to all the tournaments, because then I would have been in his position.
I would have been in his place if I had just left him in the ditch on the side of the road.
Not take him, got him arrested at the border. It was always a joke every time we went through the border. It's like, I'm gonna turn around and tell him that you're my lover.
Just for a laugh, just to see what the border would do. So nicely at the end of that last episode too. Okay.
By the way, I'm just getting
congratulations
by my background image right now, because like I'm looking at this guy, right? This ogre here.
Yeah.
And like my image of ogres is like they're all like corpulent and like really fat and that. Yeah. But like this guy is quite hefty, but he's like, you know, Bjorn Halfson hefty.
Yeah, totally.
He's like, you know, big and he's strong and that.
Strong.
Like I'm not looking at this guy thinking that he's corpulent and fat. I'm thinking that guy's actually pretty strong.
Well, it's like
so I'm getting a bit of a man crush on this ogre right now.
The God of War Ragnarok game is the new one, where like everyone's going on about how like the Thor character is just like, because he's just so big and dad body. That's what that ogre is like. He's like
Thor, he's got a total dad bod.
If we think about the practicality of actually fighting, though, when you think of the guy who's got like the 6-pack abs and that, the moment a blade touches his skin, his guts are gonna leak out everywhere, and he's dead.
I don't know.
Like somebody like this ogre here, like he's got at least a couple inches of fat. So if the blade touches his skin, he's going to lose a bit of weight, His biggest problem is septicemia, His guts aren't going to come out immediately. That blade's got to go deeper.
It's propaganda, kids. Don't listen to him. You should exercise.
This is my fat man's coping propaganda.
Smart. You do what you got to do, Alex. You do what you got to do.
I need to. I've gained this during COVID. This extra chin.
I lost a lot of weight and then I gained it all back.
Alex, you didn't gain anything during COVID. The bar changed, so the bar's higher now, so it's fine.
That's true.
Unfortunately, Dale, I'm still measuring using scales, so that doesn't quite work for me.
What's a scale? I don't know.
You could say, fortunately, you're still using scales, though, right?
Yeah, I'm not quite high enough on weight that I crack the scales yet.
Where you go
but I'm getting pretty close.
Yeah, like, what was that? Anyway, we're getting pretty far off here.
Were you going to make the Simpsons reference about, like, the tower?
No, I was going to say how,
I was going to point out that, like, that show, like, it said, like, really, really obesely fat was, like, what, 300 pounds?
Yeah.
And, like, no, it isn't. Like, I mean, I get back then, like in probably the 80s or 90s, that was like, because everybody was smaller, that was seen as like obesely fat, but I think I'm pretty short of 300 pounds right now, and like I look nothing like Moo Moo Cape Homer,
I'm
unless like he's 5 foot tall.
No, I think for him his scale like would only go up to 300 pounds, so he just wanted to be under like he wanted to be measurable or something like that, right?
I was at Roman's house recently, and he has one of these like kind of glass scales on the floor for his partner. And I was looking at it going, if I stand on that, I'm probably going to break it. That's literally what's going through my head. Like, I am going to crack that.
That's not the sort of thing you want to stand on. Right?
Yeah, Keith is right. Okay, guys, let's try and get back on the rails. Okay. So
that's what makes it
wine for the win.
This is the problem. Rob's decided to bring a Scot and an Englishman on his like friendly Canadian show, and he just loses control.
You guys should have heard what they were saying about my mom. It was crazy.
Yeah,
could not say it on.
I mean, I can't even say that phrasing is wrong either, because like the moment I joined the conversation, I started going off about your mum.
Oh. It's an annual experience.
Yeah.
I chose poorly today. But...
okay. So the ogre book recently.
So before we go, I'm just showing a picture real quick of the new dice. I finally took an actual picture of it.
Nice. Okay.
They are
nice.
Ridiculously beautiful. My phone captures the pearl a tiny bit. I tried taking a regular picture of it using a proper camera, and it didn't fully come out. These are the mascot ones, and then these are the completely OP, broken Kraken ones.
Yes, yeah. So in my experience, if you want to win games, maybe even tournaments, these are the dice you do it with.
Like, what the crap happened yesterday?
Is that a thing when we play in the channel now?
I am quite legendary in our community for rolling terribly.
Yeah.
Like they even made a prize for me when I went to Prince George, like for rolling so badly. They gave me like a prize and a bag of dice to replace my dice.
Yeah.
Because I rolled that poorly. And then I've gone and played on Rob's channel. He asked me to use these dice.
Yeah.
I've used dice, and I've had the best dice I've ever had in my life.
Literally, he couldn't.
And like poor Rob's on the other side of this. Like suddenly it's Alex.
It got to the point where he was complaining when he was rolling slightly above average. Like it was that crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't enough for me anymore.
It was wild. But yes, they are $30 Canadian for 20, which it makes them the cheapest dice on the market, and they're still the best looking dice. Or it's $25 if you're a Patreon. So yeah.
So Alex, what you need to do is every time you go over for a game now, just steal one at a time, and by the end of the year, you'll have a set.
I gave him some because Alex, yeah.
It's his way of paying for the petrol of me getting to and from his house to play games every time.
It's pretty far, to be fair. So I've got the ogre
I mean,
book.
it's not far in time, but it is like an 80-kilometer round trip.
Yeah. Hey, you chose to move to the Chaos Wastelands, not me. I'm just kidding.
It's so much nicer over here, though, you know.
Yes.
We gave away a prize for, I think it was like, was it last place at Kippers, where it was like I 3D printed one of those chalices and we filled it full of dice.
Nice.
And then whoever came last got that. It was like the wooden spoon.
There is not a
Braden.
link, Braden. You can just email me sagaofdice@gmail.com. It might not be in the description now that I think about it. I meant to put it in the description, but yeah, you can just send me an email and I just charge whatever shipping it costs me. So, yeah. Or if you're a local, you can actually pick them up. I can just
Yeah, maybe next time I'm over, it might be worth me grabbing some, and then if anyone wants to pick them up on this side of town,
Oh yeah,
they can get them from me because like Braden's not far from me.
cool. Yeah, and I can meet people at Magic Stronghold and such.
Yeah, because I'm like 5 minutes from there. So
Cool, and you can get 20 Kraken, 20 of the Huns. Or actually, I never even talked about. So the rat has a name, but I won't go into it right now. It's like honestly, he's had a name since before the channel even existed. Like since my brother made the thing, I thought up a name, and it's kind of a cool story, but it might take a while, so we won't go into that.
The show enough.
Yes. Digression is my forte. That is my wheelhouse. So.
Oh, that doesn't sound good, Keith. I'm from the north of England, so I'm like a 5 to 10 degrees sort of man.
Wow.
30 plus, and I'm literally like in a bathtub dying.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Keith. Yeah, that 30, 40 degrees. I went to school in Japan, and I actually know all about that. The hottest was 45 degrees Celsius and 100% humidity, and I wanted to die.
You almost
did. Back from the Weather Channel. Okay, so Ogre Maw tribes, right? From orbit. What are your thoughts, Alex?
To coin a phrase from Heywo, I'm gonna say big.
Big, yeah.
Yeah.
They are big. Everything is big in the book. Does he have a new video?
I don't think so.
Does he just have the TLDR video with like the monster trucks and?
Yeah, I think so.
That's really funny. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out.
So for me, I would say that once again, in the trend of AOS 3, GW is knocking it out the park with flavor.
Cool.
It really feels like we've got that flavor that then leads into design, as opposed to sort of going, hey, these are the models, please make us some rules to do with the models. It feels like we've actually got flavor based on the lore now.
Yeah.
Which Ogre's always had flavor, but now it just feels, a bit more. And we've lost some of the.
Was that a food joke, Alex?
Yes. We've lost a few of the nonsensical dice rolls, and we've gained a few of the just better quality of life for it.
That's awesome. That's really cool. That's good to hear. Yeah. So Dale and I have we've played against them, both of us.
Yes. You've both played against me.
We both played against Underguts.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Mother of God. Yeah. So. But
I'm just going to do the classic. I was playing them before this book.
He really was. And did you bring? I think you brought 3 cannons on the channel before.
I'm pretty sure it was
before?
still 4 cannons.
Was it 4 cannons?
Pretty sure it was still 4.
I mean, you guys can look it up. It's Cruel Boys versus Ogre Maw Tribes.
So one of the guys, Bald Guy Games, is asking, do you feel like leaving Sons of Behemoth out of the ally possibilities and an oversight?
It seems dumb. But wait.
Who can ogres ally with?
I think they can take the destruction.
Know.
They can take the destruction giant.
I'm that guy who always plays my armies quite pure. So
me too. Yeah.
Their allies are Gloomspite Gits, but it's Ale Guzzler Gargants and Troggoth units only.
Oh, okay. That's
weird.
interesting. So yeah, so you're pretty limited in
Wait,
terms of what
wait,
you
wait.
can
What
have.
is it? It's Trogoth and what?
Okay.
Trogoth units and Aeolgusler Gargants from Gloomspite Gits only. So
Oh,
interestingly, you wouldn't actually be able to have the Cruel Boys Trogoth because it says Gloomspite Gits brackets Aeolgusler and Trogoth units only.
Interesting.
that's
Um,
stupid.
uh, yeah, I mean, you can still take that Mercenary Mega Gargant
Yeah.
sort of thing. So you can always have access to that.
Huh.
Um,
I mean,
yeah,
it.
But all you need is
it's,
Nobblers and Iron
I
Blasters, and you
don't
don't need to
think.
yeah,
think
I
about them.
don't think
it's
it's an
not really a
oversight.
question I've contemplated, if I'm honest.
Yeah, fair.
Volga games.
I don't think it's an oversight though, because they're very specific about like Trogoth in Gits, etc.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's unfortunate for sure though. Like,
Can
but
you imagine if you could get like
yeah,
so let's say like just the realm of possibility, like just entertain my thoughts for a second. Let's say you get the Sons of Bahamut Giant. Let's say for whatever reason you're allowed to have his Mightier Makes Rightier because you have Might Makes Right in this army. So you have that one giant and you have him stood there with 4 Iron Blasters behind him.
that's insane.
That would be gorgeous.
It'd be gross. They shouldn't be allowed to shoot
That would be
around the
slightly
giant.
wrong.
um, okay, so okay, will they stop selling the baby Gargant in single, and you can only buy him in a box of 3 now for those people who just won, me included? There's just no room for it anymore.
Yeah, for Suns they keep changing the box size for the
Yeah.
little Mac Crusher. Like he used to be in ones, then he was in pairs, then he was part of the OGOR Christmas box, I believe it was, by himself. And then he's now swapped over to being a three-man box. I don't know,
Which you get in
I feel
terms
like
of like,
PW don't really know what they're doing with him.
yeah.
That's fair. Okay, should we go into the allegiance abilities?
Sure.
Okay, so back to the dice real quick. There we go. These pictures are courtesy of Alex. It took me like 20 minutes to sort them out. But I appreciate it. I forgot I was going to take a PDF myself, but so I appreciate you sending it over. Thanks, Alex. We got the nice silhouette of your phone on here.
Yeah.
So we got the allegiance abilities. Have they changed? I have no idea.
Yes.
Okay.
So Grasp of the Everwinter is the same.
Okay.
Trampling Charge is mostly the same, but for the actual like ogre units, it's changed slightly. So like Gutbusters and that. It used to require to be, I think it was 8 people in a squad to get your bonus to charge.
Okay.
Now your bonus to charge isn't +2 anymore, but it's +1. But
Okay.
instead, it happens at 3 models in the unit instead of like 8 models. So it means that when you're taking a minimum size squad of Gutbusters,
Yeah.
like the Iron Guts, the Lead Belchers, the Gluttons, you're always going to get it until you lose models, which is nice.
I see.
Then you've got Gulping But. So when I was saying about getting rid of nonsensical dice rolls, Gulping Bites have gone from the War Scrolls. So there's no more, oh, I'm going to roll one dice on a 4 and a 4, no red, see if it's 1 damage. Now it's just an allegiance ability at the end of combat. If you're within 3 inches on a 4+, you do D3 mortal wounds.
Okay, that's better.
Which is a lot better.
Yeah.
It's a lot less dice rolling. It makes more sense. It's nice. And then we've kept the hungry and eating sort of thing, which is great. I love that for flavor. We're actually using it a bit further in the book as well.
Cool.
And then we've got Might Makes Right, which is the same except for Ogre Tribe's heroes that aren't a monster. They used to just count as 2. Like
Okay.
all ogre non-monsters, but now they count as 5.
Good. Good.
So you've got 2, 5, and 10 for what you count as.
Perfect.
Which once we get rid of these battalions from this GHB,
Yeah.
it's going to matter a lot more, because suddenly your battalion where you count as 3 isn't going to exist. So suddenly count as 2 is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
And
then
then there's a second page to these battle traits, which is where it really goes nuts, and we get some brand new battle traits in the form of 2 new monstrous actions.
Cool.
Which are for the Beast Claw Raiders side of the army. One's for the Thunder Tusk and one's for the Stonehorn. Specifically, it's when you charge. So it's on your turn. It's when you've charged. So that it's only active sometimes, and that's understandable. These are so powerful. Unstoppable Charge is like, particularly for me, I'm known in our local scene of like always doing these pile-in shenanigans. This Unstoppable Charge is like my dream come true.
Nice.
It's so there's no dice roll to see if it works. It just works. You roll 3d6 on your Stonehorn that charged, and he gets to move 3d6 inches as if he's flying, as long as he ends within 3 inches of an enemy unit. It doesn't have to be the one you initially charged either. So you can like float around, and then you get like a free little stomp as well on a 2+ on every unit you passed across.
But what's crazy though is you get 2 charges. You get one 2d6 charge, then you get a 3d6 charge.
Yeah.
And it can move over things as if it could fly. So it doesn't matter if you're moving over a monster, you can still do 2 up D3 mortal wounds. That's incredible. Yeah. The utility on that is insane for movement.
Yeah. So, this army used to struggle sometimes with like a really good like screening anvil.
Yeah.
And this now gives you an answer if you're playing the monster truck list of, well, okay, you've got a screening anvil, but did you also like set up your army correctly behind the anvil so that I couldn't land my base physically in range?
Well, and it doesn't even matter if you're playing a monster truck list. If you have one of these guys.
Oh yeah. One of them uses it really well. But the reason I brought up the monster truck list was because that's the sort of list that will tend to get stuck on things, you know.
Totally.
So that's where it would be a huge benefit. And then we've got the Thunder Tusk one. The Thunder Tusk one is also great. You won't be using Thunder Tusks as much because they're still paying for the sins of the first book, where you could just like 2 up 6 mortal wounds.
But this was
hilarious, but also troubling.
This alone is amazing, though.
Yes.
Like you might want to take one because you can take them as battle lines still, right?
On a 3+, you can do Strike Blast.
That's insane. And there's still battle line.
If you have the right general, yes.
Okay. Like, I wanted to take them all, monster list anyway.
Yeah. So I agree with you. But right now, when I'm making my monster truck lists, I've got like 1 Thunder Tusk in there, if any. Because I'm down like
Roman's
you know
comment,
what?
though.
I'm going to add some more Stonehorns.
Yeah. Well, like Roman said, the only problem with that rampage is that you have to bring a Thunder Tusk.
Exactly. Roman gets it. Roman gets
get
why
it
I'm
too.
pulling the face.
I get it too, but it's a woolly mammoth.
It is. But it does so little damage compared to the Stonehorn. And you, as the ogre player who's decided to bring monster trucks, are not interested the moment I tell you it doesn't do much damage.
That's fair. I guess we'll get into that later. I do want to ask about the Mournfang because I've always loved those models. The Mournfang and the Stonehorn and then the Thunder Tusk are my favorites.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised you're not running any Mournfang in the list that you play.
Alex
just
and
because
I
of that.
just talked about this today.
Yeah, because I think that the Unleash Hell rule thing's really good.
But there's a like what I said was like normally I would say to you run Mournfang because you love cavalry, but Alex constantly runs cavalry.
Yeah. Almost all my armies are either monster truck monster spam style, or it's just like this wall of cavalry.
Yeah.
So for me, part of the reason I'm not really exploring the Mournfang right now is because like I just look at them and I go, yeah, but I've got like 21 gold runners painted and sat there. So like if I have that cavalry hitch, I can just play Iron Jaws. I mean, I know they'll give me like a different flavor of play,
for sure.
but at the same time, those are all built and painted. And as a destruction player, I feel like I'm inherently lazy. So I'll
You're
go
not
with
lazy.
that, and quite frankly, when you have 21 picks, you've got to find a reason to play them because that's like $800 of picks, and it's just dumb.
It's hard to argue with that. Okay, so Ball Guy Games, but you guys now run them in blocks of 4, so you can get the additional +1 on the charge roll for mortal wounds, or do you still keep them in 2s? Oh, that's a good question.
So as fast mobile screening units, that sort of harass, I would still take them in 2s.
That's fair.
If you are looking for that hammer, though, that the squad of 4 is you can't go far wrong with it. You're looking at damage that's sort of in the league of gluttons, for a bit more than the price of gluttons, but the mobility is just crazy.
Yeah, mobility is so much better, and they have shooting to speak of, right?
I mean,
they have
rolling the dice, but yeah.
Anyway.
Technically, they've got one bullet that comes out of the squad leader. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, like the 4 really does hit quite hard. Like if you were chasing that cavalry list, then it is there for you. Like
and they are battle line and
take a couple of monster trucks, and then fill yourself out with Monfang. For if you were doing that sort of list, I would actually really struggle to choose a sub-faction, funnily enough. That's like the one time I would struggle to choose, because part of me would want to go the Monfang one, but then I'd be like, oh, but I know shooting's going to be prevalent, so I'd want to go the winter one, that sort of thing.
That's cool.
So that would be interesting.
Okay. Enhancements. What stands out to you? Like, what are your favorites? We don't need to go over all of them because there's always ones that are kind of very meh.
Yeah.
Right?
So let's assume that GW have completely lost their marbles.
Okay.
And you are the ultimate edgelord troll player.
Okay.
You are going to look at Reluctant Rabble Rouser to make all your Noblar units wholly within 18 Battleshock immune.
That is twisted and disgusting.
Because Noblars are completely obnoxious right now.
They're broken.
I would not go out and buy a load of them. I would wait until the FAQ.
Yeah, they need an FAQ.
That needs an FAQ.
Yeah. It should be normal move.
Yeah, normal move
or charge move.
Who cares? It should be one of them, but not all of them.
One of them, but not both. Yeah. Yeah.
So in the game I played with Alex the other day, my mega cow Avliner literally died, or like took 7 mortal wounds from stupid Nobbler stuff.
Stupid Nobbler.
Especially when there was only 1 Nobbler left at one.
The best part is he took like 7 mortal wounds from Nobblars. He swung at the Nobblars, and there was a single Nobblar left, which I left directly in front of his Avalanor. So his plan was to kill me, then pile through with the Avalanor and kill my stuff behind it. But there was a single Nobblar left, and I left him in front of the Avalanor. So a full Avalanor's injured worth of attacks had to go into this one Nobblar. Like, that's value. 100 points, that's value.
That's too much value. Way too much value. What's even the lore?
My game against Rob.
Yeah.
You will see it on the video.
Yeah.
But I'm basically trolling Kragnos with Nobblars.
Oh God.
Yeah, there was essentially. I mean, you guys will see it.
Yeah.
It's a really fun game.
It is fun. But
it was a fun game.
I will say that was
on the list of how to lose friends.
So the game I had with Alex as well is like there was at no point where I rocked up to the we played. There was at no point where I was just like, oh, this is a whole one-sided thing. Like it was just some bad dice rolls, some bad saves, and then and not realizing that the Nobblars weren't Gallivets. I thought they were. But it's not. I don't find it obnoxious. It's not like one of these books where it's like, you know, when you play Seraphon, for instance, and it's like, oh, well, I can just do this from the back of the board, and you can't do anything, and all this stuff's -1 damage and stuff. That's obnoxious. Like, the Ogre book, I find, is like, it's fair. It's like, it's got good stuff, and it works well, but it's like, it's also pretty fair. Like, some of the stuff needs an FAQ, you know, and some of the stuff may need looking at, but I would also like not say that, oh, this is like, you know, completely broken or something.
If they look honestly, like, so the problem with the what are they called, Gutbuster, what are they called, the Iron Blaster,
Iron Blasters.
the problem with the Iron Blaster in Underguts is not in competitive play. The problem is that
It's in casual play.
in casual play, and no offense, but like when you've got casuals against each other, it takes no skill to just wipe the other person off the board and have a non-game. And so, and I'm not saying we need to balance things at the lowest level, but like Games Workshop is aware that most people exist on the casual level in Warhammer, in a dad game especially. But
yeah. So like Dale's, you know, out there competing for best overall when he goes to events all the time.
Yeah.
So like Dale doesn't see a problem with it.
No, I don't either. I was fine with it.
Whereas me,
yeah,
like I do quite well at tournaments and events, but at the same time, I'm generally there to have a laugh. I personally think they should be nerfed. But I'll let GW get the FAQ out and decide what they want to do before I say actually 100% they should be. But for example, with something like the range, I know Dale was mentioning with Seraphon having that crazy range. Like if you told me that they knocked 6 inches off the range of the long range shot, I wouldn't be against that.
Yeah,
know?
Fair enough.
Or something like that. Right now, I personally think it's a bit much. But then again, the question is the meta going to shift? Because we always see books like this where there's something about them that's doing something a bit different, and the question is it going to get nerfed into oblivion, or is the meta going to shift? And that's like an interesting point in time to be at.
Is the meta going to shift to Cruel Boys that have the ability where you can't shoot them if you're over 12 inches?
I already have my Cruel Boys army ready.
Yeah. Alex has had them painted since a week after he bought them. And that's not a joke.
You're not far wrong there.
Yeah, it was about a week.
Yeah, I did go to that event and I was like, I need to paint a 2,000-point army in a week. And then I did the worst I've ever done at a tournament.
Yeah. You literally took a joke list, or not literally, but
I did take a joke list.
It was pretty much a joke list. Okay, so enhancements other than reluctant rabble rouser. Go.
Okay, other than the edgelord one.
Yeah.
The immediate one that jumps out is killer reputation.
Killer reputation, tyrant only. Before this general is set up, something for the first time, you can pick an additional
big name.
And then I see. Okay.
Yeah. So when you have your tyrant, you're allowed to choose big names, and the big names affect his stats. So it might make him faster. It might make him count as a monster for charging.
I guess we'll get to the big name thing.
The one that you would jump to with this is it would be the 3+ save, 5+ ward, because you turn him into an absolute tank with it, which is funny.
So you put it on like a tyrant or like something.
Well, it has to be on the tyrant. Couldn't
it be on like a shaman or whatever?
No, the killer reputation is tyrant only.
I read it out too. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was reading the top.
It's okay, guys. We have to deal with this when we play games.
Ugh.
Rob does not read the rules at all.
That is a lie.
He's your typical battle report creator.
That is a lie.
He just doesn't read the rules at all.
Quit spreading your propaganda.
When do you fire Arcane Bolt off, Rob?
At the beginning of the phase.
We had this conversation yesterday.
You got it right for once.
You actually came up with this because I had that question as well, because it's like I'm used to only using one wizard, and like in my Lumineth I have like 6, and I was like, when does it go off when you're doing the D3 thing and stuff?
I got it
Yeah, he
wrong.
mentioned you.
I got it wrong. Alex corrected me, right? And then he
Still got
kept
it wrong.
like psyching me out about it, and so then I was like, wait, because now I'm not sure of myself, right? But yeah, I usually get it right now. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay. So that's the Gutbuster ones that you like.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And Bolgar Games is completely right. You could go for the free up save and then turn him into a monster for charging, and just have like this fat lad that charges at people and like just bounces them out the way with his gigantic belly.
Why does it make him better for charging?
Because if you count as a monster for the purposes of charging, then you do mortal wounds on a 4+ instead of on a 6+.
Oh, is that part of that
Yeah, it's
name?
part of the trampling charge
Got it.
thing. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, so what about Beast Claw Raider?
So the Beast Club Raiders one, immediately I'm gonna draw your eyes to Touched by the Everwinter, which is that's gonna be the one that everybody
Can you
immediately
explain it?
gravitates to.
I've only got the
You
fuzzy
need
copy.
reason to not choose this one, basically. So what it does is it makes your Beast Claw hero a priest.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, you're gaining the priest keyword,
That's insane.
and you're allowed to take one of the prayers.
Yeah.
So you could even take a universal prayer.
But
That
you could
be,
take Curse on this
take
thing that's
Curse,
super hard to kill.
or you could take Heal to make
Yeah.
yourself even tougher. But on top of that, the prayer scripture isn't that bad either. You could take that pulverizing hail, which is going to like occasionally do some damage in AoE.
I mean, so we'll get into those prayers. So I guess it's something to keep in mind. But I just want to point out that like anytime you have a priest, like the Engine of the Gods, like the Plague Furnace, anytime you have a priest that's on a lot of wounds and it has like an after save or is tough, that's insane. Like it's so good because you want them going in anyway, and then they're just going to be like, okay, well I'm within 9 inches anyway. Have a curse. Like you're welcome.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, that's crazy. That's super good. Okay, is there anything else under Beast Claw Raiders? I mean, honestly, that almost seems like an auto take, but
Yeah, that's why I was saying you need a reason to not take that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm gonna. The Skull Packmaster thing used to be a thing, but it really isn't anymore. So that one you'd skip.
yeah,
The Beastmaster thing is like the dig in the heels, which used to be available for. I'm not sure if it was a command trait or a command ability or something. Basically, to fight at top profile. Again, I'd skip that because it's situational.
yeah.
And then the other one is Voice of the Avalanche, which lets you issue commands to anyone on the battlefield instead of within range.
Whoa.
And you can issue a command point once per battle without spending the command.
That seems really good if you're using something that doesn't have like a like I'm assuming Yetis don't have a hero or like
Yeah,
a captain.
there's some units which inexplicably aren't classed as elite or have a champion.
Yeah.
And there's some units which it makes sense. This could be very, very good, but it also depends which way the FAQ lands.
Yeah.
Because I do wonder if those ones that aren't elite, are they not elite because GW wanted to push this command trait, or are they not elite because it was an oversight?
I don't think it's an oversight, and the reason is because there's a lot of other things that are also not elite. Like trolls aren't elite. I mean, actually, that's not new, but like Storm Fiends have an update. They're still not elite. Like there's still a lot of things. Like so, that's my guess. But I mean, regardless, like I get Yetis not having it, right?
Yeah. In answer to Roman, if it makes you a priest and you weren't a priest, you would get a prayer from the fact that you have the prayer enhancement for your army by default.
Yeah.
So that would be the in addition to other prayers, sort of.
The only time you can't is if you actually no, never mind.
It would be only if you were named. But
yeah, I was gonna say, and then but I just realized you can't give named character that anyway. So
yeah, you can't give a named character that anyway. So
it doesn't.
So like Roman said, if you're already a priest and you take this, you get to know all the prayers, plus whatever the prayer enhancement is you take. If you're not already a priest, then you just get your prayer enhancement prayer.
That's amazing.
Plus, as well, like a thing a lot of people forget about is it's worth having a priest in your army if you can take one,
Yeah,
just for like if you're against like Daughters of Cain and they've got the
Yep.
Heart of Fury, or
yeah,
Corn, or Fire Slayers where they have like endless prayer kind
Endless
of things.
prayers. Yep.
Yeah,
yeah,
being able to dispel those is great.
Especially
yeah.
Doc. Like
Yeah, yeah, all the Heart of Fury for
Heart of
ogres.
Fury
Yeah,
is.
if you can dispel that, it will
Oh.
make a
I
mess.
believe, correct me if I'm wrong, a priest can also dispel an endless spell as well.
They can. It just takes their prayer away.
Yeah, they can give
Oh,
up
neat.
their prayer to dispel an endless spell as well. So like if you really needed that roll to get rid of that key endless spell, that might be your answer.
Yeah, that's a great call, actually.
It just gives you some flexibility that the army didn't already have. And sort of like Keith has mentioned in the chat, you could not only take something like this, but then you'd look at grabbing Arcane Tome, our favorite universal
I
artifact, as
know.
well. So the army could have a priest and a wizard suddenly.
Oh, that's so gross.
Despite the fact that you're playing monster trucks.
You could have like a giant priest like on a monster truck,
Not
and then you
those.
could have a
Not
wizard
those.
on a monster truck.
No. Yeah, just don't do it to the same guy. Otherwise, you're gonna like roll a 1, take a mortal wound. Then you're gonna go to cast your spell and roll 2 ones and take the 3 mortal wounds.
Definitely split them up, but I still love it.
The gods will hate that you're casting spells.
That's
so
true.
Your spells fail.
So I guess that's it for command traits.
Yeah.
Artifacts of power, Gutbuster heroes, go.
Gruesome trophy rack.
Okay.
It's the same as it was before.
What does it do?
+1 to hit rolls by friendly Gutbuster units
Whoa.
wholly within 12 of the bearer against a monster or hero.
And that's for shooting
applies-
as well.
Yeah, so
Damn.
because it's for attacks, it's for shooting and melee.
Okay.
So this is just always on, and it's always good.
That's oh, you took that.
Yes, I did take that.
Oh, you're gross. You're a terrible person. Yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
We've then had the splatter cleaver, which used to be the blood gullet forced artifact.
Okay.
Which is like you do some damage and then you heal some ogres and AoE.
Oh, okay.
Which is situational but nice. I like that one. It's not the best in the world.
But you also get to take something called the splatter cleaver. I'm just gonna point.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got the Fang of Gur, which sounds incredible until I tell you there's like 1 or 2 attacks from the weapon, and then you just roll your eyes and move on. And then we've got one of the awesome ones, which is once per battle. So we're already expecting big things from this if it's going to be once per battle. And it actually does deliver. It's once per battle. You get a 3+ ward.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is
It's just for that
crazy.
phase. It's just for that phase, but if there's that one phase that your hero needs it,
don't care.
then they chug that potion, a flask of Stonehorn blood, and they're probably surviving.
And then the Demon Prince of Nurgle comes in, he's like, "What up?"
Yeah. Then you cry a little.
That is actually like one of the few times where I see a one use only artifact and I'm just like, whoa, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Beast Claw, what's your best pick out of here?
Yeah, you see me pull a face because the Seat of Alvagar is the one I would personally go for.
Okay.
That's a Stonehorn or a Frost or a Thundertusk hero only.
Cool.
Once per battle, you can do 2 monstrous actions instead of 1.
Ooh, that's cool.
which is incredible to combo with the Stonehorn with that unstoppable charge. Totally. So you could like fly behind the line and then either like stomp or roar whoever you land on behind the line.
And it's only once you get to do it. So it's like, okay, well, they're gonna kill my Stonehorn now, but it's like, okay, cool, he already did it. Yeah.
Keith, the 3+ ward is on a Gutbusters hero only, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So you cannot put it on your monster truck.
Yeah. That would be so broken. Like, my God. But
but yeah, for the Beastclaw Raiders heroes, the Seat of Alvagar is the one that I'd jump to. If I wasn't immediately saying, hey, there's a universal artifact called Arcane Tome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just overshadowing everything. The others are a bit naff. You've got one for an Icebrow Hunter, which is hilariously bad. You've got one which buffs Yetis, which pour one out for the Yetis, fellas. They're just still not good.
That's unfortunate.
And then there's the once per battle shoot someone on a 2+ for D6 mortals at point blank range,
Yeah.
which, you know, if you're leaning into the mortal wound sort of thing, you could certainly do. But for me, it just doesn't trump the other things that are available.
I'm kind of sad that they're not honestly, the artifacts for Beastclaw are not great.
I mean, you've already been given the best gift anyone could ever ask for of my monster truck drives over their lines.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, what more do you want, Rob?
Oh, and he's
What
already a
more do you
priest.
It's a
want?
good point. Like, you could get a good little artifact or have something that does that. I would rather. Like, if I had that ability, or
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, before we skip over it, what about Vial of Manticore Venom on a monster truck?
Well, you've got to apply it to a single weapon.
Yeah, I know, but does he not have a good weapon?
I mean, he's got the Frost Spear, which is what you would apply it to.
Yeah, because
Um,
you can't apply it to the mount.
No, you can't apply it to the mount.
Yeah.
I haven't really thought of that because I don't really think of the Frost Spear when I think of damage from it.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, yeah, you could. It's 4 attacks, freeze, one round, 3 damage. So you could certainly push it to 3s and 2s, but I wouldn't personally spend my artifact.
You could be on 2s and 2s. I was just curious because they're so lackluster, and like I think Arcane Tome is going to get hit, but I don't know.
Yeah. I'm personally hoping the next battle scroll like drop kicks Arcane Tome into a ditch.
I don't know if they drop it into a ditch. I'm hoping that they go for Lore Master. You know all the spells. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. We are on to the spell lore.
So this is the spell lore to end all spell laws.
This is
what all spell laws wish they could be.
What? It's better than Night Haunt?
Yeah.
Those are big.
Do you know what makes it better than Night Haunt? It's simple.
Okay.
I don't have rules that go on 100 pages to do an effect. I just have basic, interesting rules. So. Okay. So we've got. I'm actually going to cover most of these because they're great.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've got Blood Feast, which is the classic. That's choose an ogre or monster unit +1 to the attacks characteristic. What? Yeah, I'm all for that. That's more murder. I love murder.
Yeah.
You know, we particularly with a Gutbusters army, we've got more bodies on the table. We're going to get more attacks from it. Yeah. Or buff that Stonehorn up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's not a monster. So.
Yeah. Night, Dan.
Good night, Dan. Have a good one, man. Thanks for hanging out. So it won't work on a monster truck or a Thunder Tusk.
Yeah. Well, it will because they're a monster. It's just It
says pick friendly ogre unit that is not a monster.
Oh, that's not a monster. Sorry, I cannot read.
It's okay.
Reading is difficult for me.
That's true.
Apparently.
It's for all of us.
Dale, you're muted, by the way.
I kind of think it's a bit of a benefit to ogres that their artifacts aren't as good, because then you're not trying to shoehorn in warlord to get more.
That's true.
Because like as long as you've got one that's takeable, then you're not like, because that's the problem. Like for instance, Lumina Fremlords, they have a number that are pretty decent, but then you're having to try and like, okay, how am I going to shoehorn getting these characters in to be able to take a warlock? Because you need a minimum of the 3 heroes at a unit to get the warlock. Or even in command entourage, you still need 3 heroes. And especially when you have ogres and they're a lot more expensive for your heroes. So it's kind of like a benefit in a way where you're not like, oh god, I've got to try and get these heroes because I need these 2 artifacts for the army to do well.
I wouldn't call it a benefit. I'd call it a silver lining.
And
here's my pushback though, because I play Cruel Boys. And I think they have the worst artifacts in the game. Like, they're all 1 use only, and they're all just trash, right? So when Arcane Tome goes away...
what about Arcane Tome?
But when Arcane Tome goes away, then you don't really have anything.
Yeah, that's true.
And also, more artifacts that are cool is more fun. Like,
yeah.
But
I would
there is
rather
a
have
silver
cool
lining. I hear what you're saying.
situational artifacts.
What's that?
I don't need my artifacts to be generically good like Arcane Tome is.
No, I agree
I
with
just
that.
want my artifacts to be cool in certain situations.
Yeah, exactly. It has to be. It has to make you want to take it. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Blood Feast.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fantastic for Gutbusters. +1 attack. That's just going to add to the hate coming out of your models in melee.
Yeah.
Then we've got Blubber Grub Stench. Oh, sorry, I should also mention that the casting value of all these spells has gone down between books.
Really?
So it's now much
7.
more reliable,
Yeah.
which is fantastic for an army that doesn't really get bonuses to cast.
Yeah, that's fair. You get just when you're near the maw pot, hey?
Yes, just when you're within an inch of the maw pot.
That's fair.
So Blubber Grub Stench. Now this one's really cool.
Okay.
So if you successfully cast it until the start of your next hero phase, while they're wholly within range of the caster, wholly within 18 of the caster, so this is going to be a Butcher or a Slaughtermaster casting it.
Yep.
So it's a pretty big aura, wholly within 18. Rhinox units, so, I don't know, an Iron Blaster, will be treated as a monster for the purposes of Trampling Charge.
Wow.
So that means it's going to do mortals on a 4+ instead of a 6+. It will also be treated as a monster for the purposes of contesting objectives, which in OGOR tribes means you'll count as 10.
That's amazing.
Instead of counting as 2 like you would previously.
Yeah.
And you can also carry out monstrous rampages with those rhinoxes, which is also
yeah.
like that. That's like 3 different huge benefits like within that aura around the like that, and that's a casting value of a 5. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Like that's incredible.
And I do really like what Keith said. I love that idea of Arcane Tome only goes on a wizard and gives a plus to cast, unbind, etc. Makes it less auto take and super useful for armies without casting bonuses. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I would say if it goes on a character who isn't a wizard, maybe it gives you 1 auto unbind per game.
Yeah.
Which is quite strong. I will admit it's quite strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like the old Warhammer, the spell scroll.
Some armies
you're still taking
some armies don't care.
Yeah.
Like the ones that like a super caster armies don't care because they're like, I'm unbinded on a 3 or a 4, I don't care anyway. But the armies where they're really struggling for spells and dealing with spells, they might take that just so that they have 1 turn where they can turn off the enemy spell.
Yeah, if they've got like an endless spell in their face and they're just like, what do I do? You know,
here
goes nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, so the next spell is Molten Entrails.
It's such a cool one.
So what this does is you, within range of 18, which is pretty long range, you get to choose an OGOR tribes monster, wholly within range, invisible, and add 1 to the damage characteristic of the melee weapons used by the mount. Oh yeah, we can make the Stonehorn do even more damage.
Didn't you cast this in our game?
Yes, but you died before I got to attack.
Sure, rub it in.
Spoilers.
Quit spoilers, yeah. Quit spoilers. Okay, and then Greasy Deluge.
Greasy Deluge. This one's good just because it's like general purpose. It's you pick 1 enemy unit within range, you subtract 1 from hit rolls made by that unit until the start of next hero phase. That's so just good. General good debuffing.
It's so good. That's the same as Fading Vigor, and it's like the best spell from the entire Soulblight Gravelords.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's funny is it's the best one from the Soulblight Gravelords.
Yeah.
And I'm not even looking at picking that most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
I'm there like, I want to punch things in the face. So I'm going to take the punch.
I'm not sure though, like, dude, Nighthaunt has a spell that's just 5-up ward.
Yeah, I mean, we have
Stonehorns. That's true. Good call. Okay, anyway. Yeah, that's even easier to get. You can't even stop them. Okay.
So then we'll go on to the Firebelly spell lore.
Very cool.
So this is that one shaman guy who's like breathing fire.
He's so cool.
Awesome. He is awesome. So the spell that you're going to see every single Firebelly on the table take is going to be Billowing Ash.
Yep.
That's within 12 inches of him when you cast it. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks that target friendly units while they're wholly within range.
Wow.
12-inch aura. So like he's gonna create like this permanent bubble of -1 to hit around it.
Dang, that's so good.
Yeah, so that really ups that survivability. Ogres tend to, except for like the monster trucks, they tend to only have like a 5-up save or something like that.
Yeah.
So reducing the enemies to hit roll. I've played a bit of Crow Boys. I know all about this. Reducing the enemies to hit roll is how we survive instead.
It's true.
Until they add bounty hunters, and then you cry in a corner.
Yeah.
Other than that, we've got Fiery Whirlwind, which basically it's your horde killer spell. You choose one enemy unit, roll a dice for each model within range and visible. Roll a dice for each model, 4+ mortal wounds. That's a great horde killer.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best we've seen, because I think they've all been 5s is the best until.
Well, nobody brings hordes anymore, so.
Yeah, but still, like there will
when the
be
hordes
a time.
when the hordes come back, that's going to be incredible.
Yeah, when Bounty Hunters goes away, that spell's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, it is for each model within range, though. It's not just count the models in the unit.
That's fair.
So, sort of like the Skaven flamethrowers, you're going to have to be a bit careful about ranges when you use it.
Yeah, you have to be in there.
Yeah, and it's a spell, so you won't have had chance to move. So, positioning is going to be pretty difficult.
And you don't have any teleport spells or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what decreases the value of it.
Gotcha.
And then the other spell is Tongues of Flame. I used to love to take this spell. I still like it, but now Billowing Ash is where I go. This one, pick one enemy unit that has 5 or more models within range, so it's changed slightly. Until the start of your next hero phase, each time that unit finishes a move, D3 mortal wounds.
Gross.
Oh, baby.
And it doesn't say normal move, does it?
No, it does not. So just pause for a second, Rob. I'm going to stare right at Dale when I say this. Imagine this with some Noblos.
Like, what the hell?
That's fine.
Imagine moving.
You deserve it. I think you ogres have had a hard time. You deserve it right now. Just wait until it gets booked, and then we.
Right.
This, like, some poor person, like
you enjoy it. Enjoy it while you can.
They move, and then on a 50% of the time, they're gonna take another D3 balls. Rob's pet spider.
You just enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, I am going to. I'm loving every moment. I was really disheartened. I was like, my book's way too powerful, but I think I'm just going to lean into that villain vibe.
Just enjoy it before they FAQ it, and
just become a monster of our scene again, and just killing people because
Alex,
it's funny.
You have everything you need, right? You've
Yeah.
got a swivel chair, you've got a filthy army, and you've got a cat.
I do.
So you just need to like put it on your lap and then slowly turn around, stroking it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So those are the spells. I mean, they're to me they're pretty much all incredible.
They're all utility. Like they're all.
There's a sub-faction which turns your wizards into 2-cast wizards and lets you know an extra spell.
Yeah.
And like if you choose that sub-faction when you're doing your Gutbusters, you're not gonna feel sad about it. You're gonna be there. You know what? I'm pretty happy with this. I've got all these spells. I'm gonna cast some spells.
That'd be fun. Also, Keith said you just need a mini Alex.
Nice.
Yeah. I was gonna say, what's the villain's name from Inspector Gadget with the metal hand?
Dr. Claw, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it is. I think you're right. Yeah, you just need to get like a Dr. Claw hand. Very good, Dale. Okay.
No, I want a mini Alex. I'd love that.
That would be amazing.
I do not want a mini Alex. That comes with like 18 years of child support.
If you would borrow your son and just shave his head and just be like,
let's fatten him up a bit as well.
Yeah.
I was thinking like an evil clone, but.
Oh, no, we're talking about kidnapping now, Rob.
1/6, half a dozen of the other. Okay, so prayer scriptures.
Yeah. So the prayer scriptures, these are mostly unchanged. In fact, I think they might actually be unchanged.
Okay.
So you've got the pulverizing hailstorm, which is a hailstorm comes down in one specific area, has a chance to do mortal wounds in that area. So like you roll a 3 up for it to go off, then everybody gets a 2 up to take some mortal wounds randomly. It's kind of nice to pepper some mortal wounds.
Yeah.
You know, is it a lot? No, but given the rest of the army, particularly when your Beast Claw Raiders can already pepper mortal wounds everywhere,
Yeah.
suddenly you reach that point where like those small heroes, like particularly something like a goblin hero or something that only has 4 or 5 wounds, you suddenly they're like, you know, these little bits of chip damage are gonna pick off my key things.
Yeah, that's pretty cool actually. I like it. And it's fun. I like the idea of the hailstorm, you know,
Yes.
coming down. So this is Beast Claw Raiders only. So
Yes, yeah. This is
Yeah.
Beast Claw Raiders priests, which you can't have a Gutbusters priest anyway. So, yeah. So then you've got Keening Gale. This is really good.
Yeah.
It's usually it ends up being a case of what's the phrase? You know, it's giving more money to the rich. Because what it's doing is it's adding 3 inches to the move characteristic of a monster or a Mournfang pack,
so good.
which is incredible for mobility. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, because they're
But these
+5 if they're not
moving,
in.
These
right?
things are already moving pretty fast anyway. So like,
Well, and they're +1 or 2 if they're not within.
they're +2 if they're not in
So
combat.
that's +5.
So it's
their
like
move,
+5,
which is
on top of
already
that
fast.
roll.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah. It's really good.
Romulan dog, yeah, man. Oh, let's hear
yeah.
about that. You know, when you're in the comments of the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've got the third one, which is just sad.
Oh, by the way, actually, Romulan Dog just pointed out something really important. It says
Yes.
friendly monster or Mournfang pack.
Oh, that's a
It
really
could,
good
you
shout,
put it on
Romulan.
Kragnos.
Yeah,
That's
a
amazing.
really good shout, Romulan. You could put this on Kragnos,
Oh,
and suddenly Kragnos can move at a decent speed.
how dare you? He's the end of empires and bank accounts. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I thought that was such a good...
that is a really good shout
Yo,
from
Darren.
Romulan. I hadn't thought about that. Like that's really interesting.
Sorry.
Yeah, hi Darren. Yeah, so Call of the Blizzard, you get 1 single model back to either a Yeti's unit or a Frost Sabers unit.
Okay.
We can just move on from that. That's
It's fair. It's not. It's
That's
clearly
terrible.
the worst of the 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Mount traits.
Mount traits. Oh, this stuff's good. I love this stuff. So we've got Metal Cruncher, it's the old Metal Cruncher you know and love. It has been nerfed slightly though.
Okay.
It used to do 4+ save, 3+ save, 2+ save, 1+ save. Now it does 3+ save, 2+ save, 1+ save. So you've lost the 4+ save, which means that there's quite a lot it won't apply to anyone.
Oh, so like it won't. It just won't do anything to like my screen.
So like Iron Jaws.
Oh.
Except the Mega Boss, yeah.
Oh.
So it's still really good because what it does is it's delivering mortal wounds when you need it, which is when people have that amazing save roll.
Totally.
However, it is overshone by. I'm just going to jump straight to the bottom of the Stonehorn one, which is Rockmane Elder.
Yeah, that's so good.
This is subtract 1 from wound rolls for attacks that target this.
And it doesn't say melee.
It does not say melee attacks.
That's insane.
So it's 1 from wound rolls all the time.
That's insane.
So you've got this is going on your Frostlord on Stonehorn. So he's got a 3-up save. Oh. He's got either 15 or 17 wounds, depending on the Moor tribe. He's got a 5-up ward, and then he's probably -1 to wound. He's not he is needing to take a hell of a lot of punishment to actually go down when this is on him.
GW and Alex Butler, you both disgust me.
Yes. Yeah. Excellent.
As he turns around with his cat. Yes. That's amazing.
The other one is Belligerent Charger. Charge rolls for this unit less than 7 and treat does a 7 for the purposes of trampling charge, which so this is actually even worse than when you initially read it, or at least it was for me.
Okay.
I think the old one might have been treat charges as less than a 7 as a 7. But the problem is it's just for the purposes of trampling charge now, which is the mortal wound charge. But it's not really fixing your charge roll,
Yeah.
so you can still fail that charge.
I think it would be kind of too good if it wasn't, but
yeah. Well, I mean, yes, it would be amazing for reliability, so I understand why you say it's too good there.
exactly.
But at the same time, like the quality of the other two it's competing with,
Yeah, exactly.
you know,
No, absolutely.
even if you made that into like always charge 4 inches or always charge 5 inches,
I would never pick
you know?
it. You know what though?
Yeah.
The other thing too is like you don't have to take an artifact in Beast Claw Raider, so you could just take an extra mount trait and call it a day. Like why would I would take a mount trait over artifacts every time?
Yeah, you can't swap that free artifact for another mount trait. You get one of each enhancement for free, and you can't swap between them though. So like you will have one mount trait by default, but you're not gonna get it. You can't trade that artifact that you're getting for a mount trait.
No, but you can like instead of taking an extra artifact with the Warlord Battalion.
Oh, if you are
take
taking the Warlord, yeah, you could, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and I've certainly got one list which I made, which is like that. But like Dale was saying, I'm there paying for these little heroes which cost a lot, and it's like, is this really worth the cost by the end of it? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, like, what is your cheapest hero? Like 140, 120?
I think it's 120.
Yeah, so it's not like you can just like chuck in cheap heroes just to fill in spots.
Yeah. It's not cheap, and the hero you're getting for that is probably trash as well. You probably
so say if it's 120 points, you're looking at what, like 360 just for an artifact. That might do a thing.
Well, 240 because you only need 2 guys below 10 wounds. But yeah, very much so.
Right.
You'd probably end up taking like 2 butchers that would run you 270 just because you'd at least want to get something out of it. So you'd want some spells out of it. So you'd be looking at like an extra 270, and then suddenly I'm telling you that you were talking about having a Frostlord battle line, Rob. Your Frostlord battle line, your Thundertusk battle line is that is actually 270. So I'm saying, do you want that mark trait or do you want another monster truck?
Yeah, probably a monster truck.
Yeah, so you'd rather have a less quality on one and just more monster trucks in general.
Probably, but like one on -1 to wound and the other with Metal Cruncher for those really hard targets. Like
yeah, well you can already get that with one of the sub factions. So we'll cover our sub factions shortly.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. Do that. Cool. If you're thinking that, Rob, I already know the sub faction you're thinking.
Fair enough. So 5-up ward save for the
Thundertusk, the one that jumps out at you is the 5-up ward save, and that's, imagine if you had a Thundertusk, but it was as tough as a Stonehawk.
Yeah.
It doesn't do as much damage,
no,
but it brings that utility. Like you mentioned, maybe we're multi-charging and we want to make them fight last.
We're running around debuffing stuff.
Exactly. That's the time I would bring this, and I would immediately jump to that 5+ ward because I want my monster trucks to live.
Yeah, totally. Are the other two, I guess, are not really worth talking about, right?
Matriarch isn't worth talking about. Flesh Greed is okay because it's at the start of each hero phase, but you've got to be stuck in combat, which,
okay.
I mean, if you're using just a Thundertusk, of course you will still be stuck in combat, you won't kill anything.
Yeah.
But it's also not the best place for your Thundertusk to be long-term to live.
That's fair. Okay.
So then on to the Maw Tribes.
Maw Tribes. Okay, so... how should we do this? What's your favorite?
My favorite?
Yeah. Well, your favorite before was Underguts.
Yeah. But, okay, this is... I don't know how to answer this question.
Okay, what are your favorites?
Okay, I can reduce the list down to 5 of 6.
Oh, that's insane. Okay. Why don't we just go through them somewhat quickly?
Okay, so the Meat Fist Maw Tribe, this has had one heck of a glow up.
Yeah.
In the last book, I don't even remember what it did. It was so bad. But in this book, Gutbusters get +1 to each roll of the Trampling Charge battle trait.
That's really cool.
Suddenly those free plus models of Gutbusters doing mortals on a 4 instead of a 5. That tyrant, which we mentioned, who's charging as if he's a monster, is doing mortals on a 3+ instead of a 4+, which is hilarious.
Totally.
So this isn't mechanically powerful, but it is very fun.
It's fun.
Like I've got a couple lists for this drawn up because I think it's so fun.
That's fair.
You know, this is where one of the homes I want to be in because I think I'll enjoy it a lot.
The reason why I don't think you should take it though is because it has the least cool logo among these three.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
If we're going for cool,
that's all I have to contribute, Alex. Okay.
If we're going to cool logos, we're going to the Beast Club Raiders side of the book, though.
Excellent. Yes, that's probably true. Okay, Blood Gullet Matra.
Romulan has cracked the code, by the way.
What's that?
He says 3 tyrants charging, doing mortals on 3+, supported by Kragnos, so they charge 3d6 each.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of the tech when Kragnos came out. Imagine this. That would
be a hilarious meme that Kragnos is like leading this army of tyrants.
So cool.
And they're all just charging you. Like,
I mean, it would work.
The enemy player would not know what to expect or what to do.
I mean, I guess that's true. Anyway. Okay, Blood Gullet Matra.
Blood Gullet. This is great because it's each butcher knows 1 extra spell from the lore of the gut magic.
Yeah.
But they also get to cast 1 extra spell.
Okay.
And we just discussed the lore. We said the lore was great. We love it. So there you go. There's an extra cast. Our 1 cast wizards and now 2 cast wizards.
Yeah.
And they've got an extra spell. Like that is generically a great lore tribe, especially if you want to go away from cannons and shooting. This could be a really good functional lore tribe to be in.
Totally. And it's only on butchers.
Butchers, yeah. So it doesn't apply to the Firebelly.
Or if you had Arcane Tome on.
Yeah, it doesn't apply to your Arcane Tome. Yeah, it's just your butchers. So that's your butcher and your Slaughtermaster. Your Slaughtermaster is a butcher.
Yeah.
So it's both those.
Like it. Okay.
Yeah. And then Underguts.
Underguts should be deleted?
Yeah, Underguts. I've actually emailed GW asking for this to be changed. I think it's too powerful.
Yeah. Alex is a dirty Skaven-like traitor, but
I betray my own armies frequently.
They're gonna do something. They're gonna do something anyway. There's no way they're not.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to, but I think they're going to.
So it's improved the red characteristic of missile weapons used by friendly Underguts lead belts. Now just wait a second, I'm gonna stop here.
Wait, why? Why?
Because I don't want to spoil the pie. But I'm gonna talk about lead belchers first. So we're increasing them by 1. So lead belchers fire quite a lot of shots. It is a random amount of shots, but they do end up firing quite a lot of shots at a decent range. Normally it's at Rend 1, but this is at Rend 2. So this is just going to like pepper wounds onto things, so you can just generally harass the table. So that's great. Okay, now we move on to the party piece.
Yeah.
And Underguts Iron Blasters. Well, about that.
So yeah.
So the grape shot, like the hail shot attack, which is the point blank attack, is now on Rend 2. So when you unleash hell on someone, they can't all out defense. So they're going to get massacred by it. And the long range shot is on Rend 3, which is backbreaking.
And what's the range of your long range shot, Alex?
The range, assuming I don't move, is 30 inches.
30 inches. But what if you move, Alex?
What if I need to move?
Yeah.
Let's say nothing's in the way and I'm not in combat either. You know, let's go for the dream scenario.
Yeah.
Why my little chariot with a cannon on moves 9 inches. So that's a 39-inch threat range with 2 shots at Rend 3.
Yeah.
Damage D3 plus 3 each.
So even if you backboard him, you've got like if you got the scenario where you're across from each other, you can't get out of range.
If you're doing this Underguts cannon list, which is the automatic one you jump to.
Yeah.
The automatic one you jump to in this book is the Underguts Cannon List. If you're doing that, then this is the time where, funnily enough, we're a shooting army that does not care about battle regiment.
Yeah.
Most shooting armies care about being low drops. This doesn't, because this wants to counter deploy with the
It
cannons.
literally improves, and then it's like, okay, do you take the first turn, or do you let me kill everything that's important to you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you want to give me the first turn so your buffs aren't up and I'm just going to open fire? Or do you want the potential that I double turn you with this
Yeah.
nonsense?
Exactly.
To answer Bold Guy Games, the threat range on the Grape Shot is 21 inches. Because it's it's a 12-inch range and a 9-inch movement.
But then it doesn't have +2 if you're not in combat?
No, it's a 7-inch base move.
Oh, got it.
I'm including the +2
Or
inches.
if you could add 3 inches with the prayer.
That applies to Mournfang and Monster.
Oh, damn, you're right.
So that wouldn't
You're right.
cover that.
You got me. Okay. I think we can move on from Underguts. They are what they are for now. We're expecting.
They are what they are. They either the sub-faction itself, I think, is going to get hit, or the Iron Blasters are going to get hit, or both. For all we know.
I kind of hope they just hit the Iron Blasters with like points, because then that doesn't take away from the Iron Guns.
I kind of want the Iron Blasters to go up a little in points.
Fair.
But I also want to see the sub-faction hit, to be honest.
I guess then you can take them in the other sub-faction and they're not overpriced if they just hit this faction.
Yeah. So the thing is the Rend is on the Iron Blasters long range and short range. I would take it away from one of those.
Yeah.
I don't really care which. Probably the short range is the one I would take it from, but I would take it from one of those.
Fair.
So only one of them gets the +1 Rend bonus.
Yeah. Yeah. Or even just leave it on Lead Belchers.
If you just left it on Lead Belchers, it wouldn't be worth even taking the sub-faction anymore.
That's fair. I guess it's kind of a problem of... Yeah, fair enough.
Exactly. I'm trying to change it in a way that still makes it a choice.
Oh man, but like it's still so good at that.
It's that problem of game balancing that you've really got to sympathize with the designers here, and that they want to make everything fun, but how do you make it so that people actually choose between the fun things?
I feel like an extra shot would have been better.
No.
Fair enough. I don't know.
You want my 4 cannons to fire 12 times at 39 inches off instead of 8? No, you don't.
I don't know.
No, you don't. You don't want 12 of those.
3 though is so awful. But putting that aside, okay, on to the next one.
Okay, let's move.
Now on to the coolest ones. You are right. They have the best logos.
They do have the best logos.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at Boulderhead. This is the one where I said I knew which one you would take if you were doing monster trucks, and this is why. So you're going to add 2 to the wings characteristic of Stonehorns and Thunder Tusks. That's not specifically heroes. That's just all of them. So all your monster trucks are getting +2 wounds, which is huge. Especially if you've got that ward save from the Stonehorn.
Baby, yeah, the mount traits.
In addition, you can choose 3 mount traits instead of 1.
Mwah!
And there's 3 mount traits which we liked. Well, that's convenient, isn't it?
That sure is.
That's really convenient.
You got that right.
So glad.
Wow.
So, funnily enough, it's a simple buff. We can actually move on from that one because it's simple and it's good. It's just just good and simple.
It's the auto take almost.
Thunderbellies is the one where I was saying this is the logo I would like most. I love this logo.
That's a cool logo.
Like the Mournfang paw and then lightning coming out of it.
Yeah.
Because it really matches. They've got this lore thing where the Thunderbellies they were actually grabbing the lightning bolts as Stormcast were dying and eating the lightning.
So dumb, but I love it.
It was terrifying the Stormcast because their souls usually get pulled back to Azir.
Yeah.
But these guys were actually essentially eating your soul because they were grabbing you as you turn to lightning and just eating
They had the Ghostbusters trap, but in their hands.
Yeah. I'm not sure if the law's been changed now. I imagine the law's probably been changed to something like it's probably just the sound of the hooves or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, this one is Thunder's Mournfang packs. Thunderbelly's Mournfang packs can run and still charge later in the turn. So they do have that one shooting attack which you'll lose. Boo-hoo, it's crap anyway.
Yeah.
Now you're giving an extra D6-inch threat range to the unit, which is fantastic.
Yep.
Particularly if you take something like this with Keening Gale, if you're going Mournfang heavy, which we said Mournfang do a lot of damage if you reinforce them.
Totally.
Suddenly these guys are moving super fast across the table. Like they are pulling that epic cavalry flanking maneuver while maybe the monster trucks are going up the middle.
That's really cool.
So this is functionally good. I love this for a cavalry list. For me personally, the only reason I'm not jumping on it is because I'm a bit burnt out on cavalry right now as a player.
Yep.
And then we've got the Winterbite Moor Tribe, which is the Moor Tribe you choose if they don't nerf Underguts.
So
the reason I say this is the Moor Tribe you choose if they don't nerf Underguts,
okay,
is because you subtract 1 from hit rolls made with missile weapons that target Winterbite units while you're wholly within your own territory.
Okay.
And in addition, Frost Sabers, Icebrow Hunters, and Yetis are not visible if they're outside of 12 inches.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so much fun. Wait, so Frost Sabers, Icebrow Hunters, and Yetis. Are Yetis
Yeah, so, I mean, this is the one time I will probably be packing Yetis. You know, that way they can't be picked off or anything like that. So the only thing your opponent will be able to shoot at will be your big monsters.
Yeah.
Which, it sucks when they do a lot of damage to your big monsters, but they are getting that -1 to hit benefit, so they will be less accurate against them as well.
Oh, they're -1 to hit as well?
Yeah, as long as you're within your territory, you're -1 to be shot by...
so that's not just them. Got it.
Yeah, that's everything.
Oh, that's super good. And then if you got the one guy with a -1 to wound, you're just like, ha ha, -1 to hit and wound.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool. I actually really like Winterbite. I might have done Winterbite.
Yeah.
And I like how it's a snowflake, by the way, that's also combined with the maw symbol.
Yeah,
it's such a cool,
really interesting.
Yeah, whoever designed that's really awesome.
Romulan dog. If you're meaning the +1 trampling charge from the Meat Fist, I was initially right with you, but when I reread the rules, the Meat Fist +1 to the trampling charge is Gutbusters only, so you wouldn't be able to apply it to your Beast Claw Raiders side of the army.
If you just read the bold text, which is probably what you did, Alex, it says you just read the monster, but I was like, it says not monster. yeah, negatory. Cool.
And suddenly it's like, no, stop it, you're having too much fun.
Yeah, exactly. So we got match play, we got grand strategies.
Yeah.
What do you think?
The grand strategies we've got Ready for Plunder, which is just take what theirs but rewritten.
Yeah.
Which right now, I mean, I put it in my list just because I'd rather have my book one than take what's theirs, even though it is the same thing.
Yeah.
But assuming the GHB changes, the grand strategy is available.
Yeah.
Then suddenly this is a good option because take what theirs is a good option.
Yep, that's true.
Saga of the Monster Hunter on the Moorpath and Enough Grub for All. They're so difficult.
Yeah.
They're difficult, if not impossible, in some games.
Okay.
So I just wouldn't be looking at them at all, because the Saga of the Monster Hunter requires you to kill an enemy monster with your general, and your general not die. Well, what happens if the enemy player doesn't bring a monster?
That's
well, then
stupid.
you can't complete it.
It should always be possible, even if it's difficult. Yeah.
On the Moorpath is complete 4 of the battle tactics. You're not going to be guaranteed to complete 4 of these battle tactics.
Yeah, totally agree.
And then Enough Grub for All is about spending your Moor Pot, refilling your Moor Pot after that.
Okay.
Because of the placement mechanics of the Moor Pot and the range to put things into it, you're not even guaranteed that the enemy player is even going to get close enough to ever refill
unless you gotcha them and you you know what I mean? Yeah.
So you're taking Ready for Plunder. or you're just taking a generic branch strategy.
Okay. Battle tactics.
Yeah. So battle tactics. So I actually like quite a few of these,
Okay.
but they're all situational for me.
Okay.
They're all situational because whether or not they're good or terrible depends entirely upon what your list flavor is.
Okay.
And I actually love that about the battle tactics because I love it when my battle tactics apply to different ways of structuring my army.
I think they should all be like that.
Yeah. So eat your fellas. You complete this battle tactic if at the end of the combat phase, every ogre unit is eating. That's hard.
That's crazy.
Not only does every ogre unit have to be in combat, you have to not accidentally kill everything.
Or die.
Yeah, or die.
Yeah.
That one is not gonna get completed. Like,
no,
you're gonna like accidentally kill something with gulping bite or something like that at the end of combat, and you're just gonna cry.
Yeah,
So that one you're not gonna do. Then we've got Savor the Taste. This one is, except for the first battle round, you complete this tactic if at the end of your turn every friendly ogre unit is hungry. So this is not in combat. So for an undergut shooting list, this is after round one is essentially auto-complete.
Yeah.
Because you can have a turn where you just sit there and open fire with everything and don't even get in combat. And you just automatically complete this because everybody's hungry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, then we've got Avalanche of Flesh. You are correct, Romulan.
So you can even start off your turn with
Romulan. Sorry, Romulan has just pointed out that Eat Your Fill is actually a lot better than I was giving it credit for. Thank you for catching that, Romulan. It's at the start of combat if they're eating.
Yeah, that's so good.
You just have to have charged into combat.
You just have to charge into combat and
so it's before you attack, which is nice. The only problem is if you kill them with mortal wounds from the charge.
But it's situational. You could you're going into like Nighthawk.
If there's nothing else I can complete, maybe I'll look at trying that.
Well, also this battle tactic becomes stronger if you don't take too many ogre units.
Yeah.
So if you've got some Yetis, you've got some other stuff, then you're
an army of Noblars.
Yeah. The most cancerous thing ever, apparently.
Noblars, Alex.
Yeah.
Avalanche of Flesh is fun. That's you completed it if the end of the turn 10 or more mortal wounds were inflicted by your charge damage battle trait. So like on your monster truck list, the turn you're going in is probably the turn you're using this.
Yeah.
This is, I'm going to charge you with every monster truck on the table and hopefully do 10 mortal wounds.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And it's just total.
Yeah.
Unlike the Cruel Boys one where you can't charge in because you're worried about dying and taking 10 wounds.
I took 10 wounds back and I failed my battle.
I failed it, whereas this one's just like, just do it, man.
Yeah,
this
the
hippie
go
dippy
for
version.
It, man. Enjoy yourself.
I'm so jealous.
Then we've got Winter. So Savor the Taste is clearly good for an Underguts army.
Yeah.
Eat Your Fill, like you said, is good for probably like a melee ogre army.
Totally.
Like foot melee, I would say maybe you've gone for like a few of the things that aren't ogres. Avalanche of Flesh is great for that monster truck list. So like I said, like these.
Just to clarify, you said foot melee, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. YouTube, you hear that? It was not an F-bomb. Okay.
Sorry.
These bloody Englishmen. What are you gonna do? Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
That's my accent. I remove T's from things.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry, no, I just wanted. Yeah.
Yeah. Then our Avalanche is very much the monster truck list. So like I said, I'm really appreciating this because it's like the different flavors of list. I get a tactic to go with it.
Nice.
Then we've got Winter Take These. This is pick one enemy hero or monster. You complete it if Grasp of the Everwinter destroys them. No.
Yeah.
No.
Like
Grasp of the Everwinter has a chance of going off. It's not guaranteed. It only happens on your hero phase, not their hero phase.
Totally.
So it's even less likely. And then it does random mortal wounds. Just no.
Yeah.
If you're choosing this, it's round 5 and you're desperate.
Yeah, for real. For real.
But if it wins you a game, I'd love to hear about
Well,
hear
and there
about it.
are
That'd be
like
hilarious.
tactics you could use. Like if you start off the turn in combat with 2 units, you know what I mean? That you can
Yeah.
attack into one and then use the winter. And if like a hero or something is only on 1 or 2 wounds left, I could see it. But yeah,
Then
it's
we've got
rough.
Let Them Loose. This is you complete this tactic at the end of your turn if you carried out 4 or more monstrous rampages. So this is definitely the monster truck list,
Yeah.
but also this is rewarding you for that turn where you're deciding to use that once per game artifact to do
Ooh,
2 monstrous actions.
that's true.
So suddenly I could actually complete that whilst I only have 3 monsters.
That's true.
So even with 3 monsters, you're able to complete that as long as you have that artifact and you do that in that turn.
The only problem is I roll a 1, I think, every time on my stomps.
It says carry out. It does not say success.
Ooh, nice. Nailed it. Okay.
It does not say
You're
have
saying
to
it's
do it.
rob proof? That's amazing.
Yes, it's rob proof.
You just have to not kill 4 things, essentially.
You have to not kill them on the charge
On the
before you get
charge.
the chance to monstrous action.
Exactly. I think
Which
I
is funny.
can.
We've got one battle tactic, which is kill them all on the charge, and the other ones are there like, please leave someone alive.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's amazing.
And then the final one, I mean, this goes great with you. Enough grub for all. Grand strategy, if that's what you're going for, and you're the best ballpark player in existence.
Yeah.
This is pick one enemy hero or enemy monster, so it's not even like just generic enemy. It's a hero or monster.
Yeah.
And you complete the tactic if that unit is destroyed within 6 inches of an enemy empty great ballpark. So, like, you're going to fill the maw pot with them, which is, like, the theme of it, boil their bones.
Yeah.
But, like, it's so specific.
That's crazy. I love Keith's comment, though. Monstrous rampages failed successfully. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess that's it for all the main rules.
Yeah. So I didn't really think it was worth looking much at the core battalions. The core battalions they've put in are very much they're there to help you if you've gone for like a junk mob build, which is like the scrap launchers and noblars,
Yeah.
or they're to help you with like the various monster truck setups.
Okay.
Just to give you a battalion that gives you something.
Yeah.
So it's not going to give you anything like artifacts or anything, but it might give you like a once per game at the double or something like that, which is nice. Sometimes you get nothing and this just throws something your way.
That's interesting.
They're all the classic names like Yolbad, Earlbad, and Torbad. And then you sort of go into the war scrolls. We've got Kragnos, who's been printed again. Thank you, GW. I have so many copies of Kragnos now as a destruction player.
But the Auric Warclans one is out of date, so.
I go to bed every night dreaming of Kragnos War Scrolls.
He does.
Because I have one in all my books. You muted again, Dale.
We need to get your ventriloquist act going.
Yeah.
It's fine because I go off to get alcohol and I mumble to myself on the dog. So I don't want you guys to I'm just saying it's like that's how many times does he change between the ones that have come out, or is
once.
He's changed once.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's changed once.
Or no, technically, yeah. He changed, so you had the same one in Broken Realms as he did in Auric Warclans. He changed once to make him worth taking, and now he's remained that way. Yeah.
Other than that, we've got the Ogre Tyrant. He's got a couple changes, basically in the options for his stuff, his big names and that. So the big thing that you write home about is the 5-up ward save. So if this guy's going to hold on to your gruesome trophy rack, you're going to give him the two big names. You're going to make him a 3-up save and then make him a 5-up ward as well. So he's holding that gruesome trophy rack and he just won't die.
Sorry, which unit is this?
The Tyrant.
Oh, the Tyrant, right. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Other than that, the really big one, like we've mentioned in the chat, all of us love the idea of just having a tyrant charging you to death with monster-style mortal wounds.
I also just realized, Alex, I don't think you sent me the big names page.
I did not.
Oh, okay.
It's part of the Tyrant War Scroll. Is the
Oh,
actual war
that's
scroll.
why.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's not an allegiance ability or anything like that.
Got it. That makes sense.
Same as before, Bestial Glaive and the Thunder Mace Hammer. It's going to do something special on sixes, but you are checking the War Scroll every time because you don't have a clue what any of it is because it's so rare.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have many attacks.
Gotcha.
Slaughtermaster's mostly the same, if not identical. He's got these attacks which are just sort of incidental, and then you're excited when you roll a 3 or a 4 on your Great Cauldron, and you're sad otherwise.
That makes sense.
Because the 3 or the 4 is the +1 to wound for ogre units,
Yep.
and the other ones, like the 5 and the 6 is, and each enemy unit within 6 inches takes D3 bottles. It's not like, why is my Slaughtermaster within 6 inches of you? If my Slaughtermaster is within 6 inches of you, it's going really badly.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess that could happen because doesn't the Slaughtermaster hang up by the Maw Pot?
I mean, they both your butchers tend to hang out in the Maw Pot, but with the casting value having gone down across the board, I think we're going to see them being a bit more mobile.
Cool. That'd be good.
Like me, myself, I use the Butcher more than the Slaughtermaster. I prefer the model. The Slaughtermaster model is horrific.
Yeah.
Like, it's so bad.
But
the Butcher has one of my favorite things. I'm a destruction player to my heart. It's got the Voracious Maw, which is basically like the old
right. And you cast
it
during our
game. It is
game.
casting value 7, so it's a bit harder than the other spells. But it's D3 mortals, and then on a 4-up it's D3 mortals, and on a 4-up it's D3 mortals, and on a 4-up it's D3 mortals. It just keeps going.
Yeah.
As long as you're feeling lucky, you're going to have that story where it kills something absurd.
Yeah, it's true.
Like you're going to cast it and you're going to kill a Star Drake by accident. Or something.
You definitely cast it in our game, and it is really fun.
Yeah. We've got the Blood Pelt Hunter, who's new. Yeah, he's all about hunting monsters. It's just a pity he's crap at
it. Shots fired. Iron Blaster shots.
He needs a command trait to be able to hit decently. And even if you give him the command trait in the perfect scenario, he's not killing a monster by himself. So what's he even doing?
Because usually he's got a bag over his head so he can't see the monster.
Exactly. All those things he's tied over his eyes so that he can have the antlers. He can't see anymore. So
I call him Moosey.
Yeah. Then we've got the Gluttons, and they are fantastic. So the musician changed from -1 bravery to +1 to charge, right? You're a combat army, you want to get into combat, you want +1 to charge, it makes it more reliable, beautiful. Your standard bearer, oddly, you get 2 per 6 in the sprues, but they've changed it now to be 1 per 6, which is a bit weird, but whatever.
Okay.
One of them adds 1 to the bravery characteristic. You're not going to take that. You're going to take subtract 1 from wound rolls of missile attacks that target them. Subtract 1 from wound rolls for missile attacks is situational, but it's fantastic. You know, somebody's launching an unleash hell at you, taking off the wound roll is huge.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because it's just missile attacks.
Yeah. And the big change for them, which we saw on Warhammer Community, was they've got Rend 1 on their attacks now. For the eagle-eyed viewer, you will know that I did not mention Rib Cracker, which was in the old book, which was a spell that did -1 to the enemy save.
Yeah.
That has been removed from the game.
Yeah.
But in trade, the Gluttons got +1 Rend, and the Iron got +1 Rend as well.
So it's like
so rather than a spell that maybe goes off and then goes onto a single unit,
so much better.
All my melee units just have it.
Yeah, and also the spell lore is already stacked.
Yeah, like the spell lore, I'm already like, I'm a glutton.
Yeah.
I'm loving.
Like if you compare this with the Skaven lore, Skaven had 6 spells, right? Now it's down to 3. And they took and it's not like they were even good before.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
That's way better.
It's because our spells it's like the law of gut magic. It's all about gastromancy. Like,
Nice.
I mean, you've got to think about these British people like me who are sat in these offices in Britain,
Yeah.
writing these rules. They've got all these gastro pubs around them.
Yeah.
That's the only place they can eat due to COVID lockdowns.
Heinz baked beans.
I'm making this up.
You fish supper again? Oh.
So
I
the
dream of having
the
good
moment they
food.
go to cast spells, they're thinking about a gastropub, and that's why the ogres get the best spell luck. And then we'll go over to Iron Guts. So these get less models per unit, but each guy is packing more of a punch and is a bit tougher. The toughness ends up around the same because it's less models, but it's better save.
Yeah.
They've got one more pip of Ren, so it's Ren 2, so suddenly you're like breaking the back of some units. And down to the Iron Guts changed into a fight last, but fight twice.
Ooh.
So you're going to do a round of attacks, then declare it's down to the Iron Guts. They're going to gain the fight last effect, and then they get to fight a second time, which is just incredible.
That's amazing. Thanks for hanging out, Roman.
Thanks for hanging out, Roman. They also have the Gut Guard rule, which used to be a battalion ability, and now it's just baked into the War Scroll. Basically, they can be a bodyguard for a nearby tyrant.
Wow.
Which is fantastic, but when I played it, I was there like, do I really want to pass wounds from my tyrant onto my Iron Guts? I really like how powerful my Iron Guts are. I kind of would rather my tyrant dies than my Iron Guts die.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm kind of with you there, actually.
It's really harsh.
Yeah, especially after
But I
playing
really
against
like
them.
this Iron Guts.
Keith is asking, is the fight twice once per game, or is that just whenever you want?
Yes. Yeah. We are seeing this more and more with the books. So with Slaves to Darkness, the Chosen have this as well. GW are still keeping fight twice in the game.
Yeah.
It is becoming once per game, and it is making you fight last. So we're getting rid of those ridiculous situations we had at one point in like AOS 2, where you had things like Half-Guard Berserkers that were fighting twice.
Or a greater demon of freaking corn, like a bloodthirster, like just coming in and fighting twice and piling in from 6 inches. Like, there you go. Yeah.
So we're getting rid of those. We're getting like fight twice is so powerful that having it fight last, like you can learn to really lean into this. Like I had a game against Eric with his Slaves to Darkness.
Yeah.
He actually activated after fighting in his Chosen his fight twice.
Mm-hmm.
Then I fought something with my Iron Guts and went, okay, well I'm going to activate my fight twice. And he was like a bit confused until he went to the fight last of his Chosen. He's now like, okay, I'm going to pile in and kill your hero now. And then he realizes after he's piled in that he's just got within range of my Iron Guts. So I used my fight last to trump his fight last. So he was going to kill my hero, but in exchange I was going to slaughter all his Chosen. For me, it makes these interesting tactical decisions rather than just the automatic I need this for ridiculous damage decision.
Yeah, it actually makes it a decision before it's like fight twice. That's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it every time.
It's like, this is guaranteed. I'm just gonna win the game immediately using this power.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's this is a situation where this would be useful. I'm gonna use it.
Yeah.
Then we've got man-eaters who make me sad. I've got 6 man-eaters painted behind me.
Yeah.
They don't. For reference, the man-eaters don't even get the Gutbusters keyword.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess it's because they're not making the models right now, or they're.
They are. They are. They actually just boxed them up into a box of 3.
Oh right.
They took the individual models and put them as a box of 3 on the GW store. It's so weird.
So confusing.
Yeah. Nelly Furtado was very upset about that.
That takes the man-eaters. They're going to love it when they do. There's like a command trait to make them battle line if you really want.
Wow.
In reality, they're not as good as like the gluttons and that, but I mean, they do have 1 or 2 tricks, like they can run and shoot. They can run and charge and stuff like that.
Okay.
But the reality is they're not very good.
Yeah, they're just bad. They're just worse.
They have situations where they're great, but that situation for me is few and far between, and I would rather just work out a way to take more gluttons or something.
Dale, I do not understand your joke.
She did a song called Man Eater.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Nelly Furtado. I didn't.
Yeah, Nelly Furtado. Yeah.
Then we've got Gorgeous.
Oh, here she comes. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Got
Gorgeous.
Hall & Oates did the one that was like, oh, here she comes.
it. Got
And
it.
then Nelly Furtado did like a modern remake of it.
I see.
Yeah, it's I'm on wine, leave me alone.
Then we've got Gorgeous, which are really cheap. They're like 80 points each. They've got the ambushing hunters thing, so they can
What?
come in from off the table.
That's
They're
cool.
really good for if you want to complete like a battle tactic or steal an objective or something in the
And
game.
they can just
They're-
come in off the side. They don't need a hunter.
yeah.
Whoa.
They're not very good, and the real tax you're paying, guys,
Yeah.
is that god awful GW model.
I don't remember it.
Good. It's for the best.
Should I show the chat?
I
Which
don't.
one is it again?
I don't own one.
No. I was gonna pull it up. What is it called again?
It's a Gorger.
Oh
G-O-R.
god, yeah. The
Gorge
Gorge
Jack?
is not a good model. Gorger.
Oh.
Can somebody without my accent pronounce it for Rob?
Oh, found it. Oh yeah, that thing's hideous.
Yeah.
I've seen worse.
Yeah,
It's
they've
not as
got
bad
a new
as a
they've got a
salamander.
new rule where as long as they're eating, you do stop rally and inspiring presence within 9 inches, which is incredible. But
Yeah.
on a 6+ save with 6 wounds, they've got to survive a combat phase.
That's
Good luck. Dale is doing the perfect pose for the Gorger.
It's such a bad model.
Yeah. Then we've got the lead belchers. Their rend moved off the bludgeoning blow onto the lead belcher gun, which is why when we combine it with Rob's going to share the gorge. I'm pretty sure it's going to be terrible.
I accidentally.
Which is why when we combine it with the underguts, it becomes a bit painful because suddenly it's renting. Yeah, that model is.
And by the way, no, you're not seeing Hong Kong dollars. No, you're not
Rob
seeing
broke the
pesos.
matrix.
It's $34 Canadian for one model.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a bad model.
Yeah.
It's Finecast.
Yeah. So not only is it a bad model, but then you've got to deal with Finecast as
Then
well.
you have to buy something that's Finecast.
Yeah.
It's
It's still
a
better
very
than-
like. When was it sculpted? It looks like it was sculpted like early 2000s.
Honestly, though, it's still way better than the Seraphon Salamander. So whatever.
And look, he's got a 6-pack, which means he hasn't got the protection.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Alex
actually
He needs the belly protection.
that's actually part of the law for them, Dale. Is that they're like they've gone crazy essentially with insatiable hunger that their belly can never be filled.
Oh, did they used to be ogres?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So they have some pretty cool lore for them. It's a shame about the model.
It's a shame about the model. Yeah, that's true.
Then we get to the Iron Blaster, which I've already given the game away when we were talking about Underguts. This has got a long range shot, which is 2 attacks, 4s, 2s, -2, D3 damage +3 each. So with Underguts, that's rend 3. That's insane. And the Grape Shot is 10 attacks, freeze, rend 1, 2 damage. So with Underguts, that's rend 2, which is even more obnoxious at point blank, especially with like Unleash Hell. So, like, if somebody has a monster or a hero they're charging nearby, your gruesome trophy rack would still apply. So it would cancel out that -1 from Unleash Hell. So it'd still be 10 attacks, freeze, rend 2, 2 damage in Underguts. It's just obnoxious.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have 3 words for Keith, though. I know Kung Fu.
He doesn't.
I know a little bit.
Then you've got the Noblar scrap launcher, which is such a cool model. Like, it's got all these Noblars on it. They're like loading scrap into a catapult. It's very much that it's that artillery piece that is aiming to kill hordes of enemies. So up until we are in that meta where people are consistently bringing 20 or more models, it's strictly worse than the Iron Blaster.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Then we've got Noblars, which are the best scroll in the entire book.
By far, by a country mile.
It's 100 points for 20 models.
Yeah.
So it's 100 points for 20 wounds, which puts us in the same point per wound category as horrors.
And clan rats.
So it's already obnoxious.
And
then they'll
clan
tell
rats.
you each time an enemy unit finishes a move within 6 inches of any friendly units with this ability, roll a dice on a 4+, they take D3 mortal wounds.
It's crazy.
And that's any move. That's not any normal move. That's not any charge move, any pilot move. That's any move. So that's all of them. Yeah, so it's just painful.
Charge, pile in, redeploy.
Yeah, that's a move.
Like, gross. Oh yeah, and a normal move. Oh yeah, and a retreat.
Retreat, run, charge, everything. You've got Black Powder's Buccaneers, which is the really cool sculpt. It's got like the sword and the KO style blunderbuss. That guy's cool. He's not really changed. There's nothing really to discuss on him. I have him because I think he looks incredible as a model. You've got Hrothgorn and his man trackers. I don't really know. I was never interested in him. He used to be that thing that you would summon off the table like to steal an objective, but Gorges are cheaper now, so if you want someone to do that, then you're taking Gorges.
That's fair.
Frostlord on Stonehorn, the base scroll is now 15 wounds. It used to be 13, I believe. So now it's 15 wounds. And we add on the bonus from Boulderhead, it's up to 17 wounds on a 3-up and a 5-up ward save. This is something we've been seeing with every book. All the monster profiles have been gaining more and more wounds.
Some more than others, but yeah.
Yeah. So with AOS 3, we've been really gaining more wounds on our monsters.
My Vermin Lord's got one more wound, Alex.
That's because Skaven suck.
It's hard to argue against that.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with an irrational argument.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Well, I mean, I was just going to say, just looking
voice,
at the win rates.
Beastclaw Raiders within, 12 inches get +1 to charge.
Yeah.
For some reason, it doesn't say of any guy with this ability. So technically, right now, it stacks.
Okay.
So you could theoretically, if you've got a couple of those guys, get like +2 or +3 to your charges. It wouldn't add to the mortal wounds because that's the unmodified charge roll, but it would certainly help with the reliability of actually charging in.
I see.
I'm not sure if that will survive in FAQ though. I assume it's not intentional that it stacks.
Which one?
The charging bonus.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's barely affecting anything, but it is there, and it seems like a bit of an oversight.
And we're assuming that the Noblars are also going to need an FAQ.
Yes, yeah. You've got the Huskard on Stonehorn. This guy's had a big glow up, and by big glow up, I mean he finally became a priest. It was so weird, because the Huskard on Thundertusk was a priest, but the Huskard on Stonehorn wasn't a priest.
So weird.
But now the Huskard on Stonehorn is a priest. So he's got the usual choose Blood Vulture because the other one's crap. He's riding a Stonehorn, so that's hilarious. And then he's got the spells which the prayers which come on the War Scroll, like both Huskards have, which is the you can heal a unit with him, or you can increase the wound roll for weapons. So that's really good. Then we've got the Frostlord on Thundertusk.
Before we go to that, I can just see. Something came into my mind, right? So the Ogre's AOS Book 2, Huskard on Thundertusk, right?
Yeah.
Someone writes into the FAQ team, "Hey GW, I think this was clearly a mistake. One's a priest and one is not." Yeah. And then you just see the GW guy from the FAQ team in the room, and he's like, "Yes, that was a mistake."
I'm
now wait for your next book.
I'm pretty sure I wrote that email.
I believe you. I could just see them saying, "Yes, now wait for your next book."
We've got the Thundertusk, the Frostlord on Thundertusk, and the Huskard on Thundertusk. They're pretty much the same. You're not getting the massive prayer bonuses that you used to get.
Okay.
You used to get a prayer bonus for each Thundertusk within range.
Okay.
Up until the point it was impossible to fail prayers except for on a 1, which was kind of funny, but at the same time probably isn't what it should be.
That's really dumb.
I really feel like the Thundertusks are still paying for the sins of AOS 1.
AOS 1 with the snowball.
That was the 2+6 mortal wound snowball.
Six
And it wasn't even a missile attack. It was an
wasn't.
ability.
So
you could run and
Yeah.
still use
And
it.
it had an 18-inch range. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've got the 2 different flavors of Beast Riders. Right now, we're expecting an FAQ because you can't actually build these guys without the crossbow, because it's 2 guys on the creature.
Okay.
One has a crossbow and the other has either a chain trap or a vulture. And right now, it says you can choose one of the 3 weapons.
Okay.
It's always been you get the crossbow, and then you choose the chain trap or the vulture, which is exactly how you build the model. For whatever reason, right now it doesn't say that.
Weird.
That should be FAQ'd. I expect it to be FAQ'd. Icebrow Hunter is bad. He's as bad as his fine cast model is bad.
Yeah.
He's a short range guy with pitiful shooting attacks that can trade his pitiful shooting attack for an even shorter range pitiful shooting attack. But his big novelty trick is that he can come in from off the table and he can bring Frost Sabers with him when he does it. Frost Sabers have actually gone up in cost, but that's because GW, for whatever reason, has given them an extra wound. So Frost Sabers now have 3 wounds each rather than 2 wounds.
That is weird, isn't it?
Yeah. We've got the Mournfang pack, which, like I mentioned, these guys are essentially like they've got rank 1 on all their weapons except the hackers, which is rank 2. So flavor to taste, I would say you're doing roughly the same damage. One's better at breaking armor, but that one is also worse at hitting.
Okay.
They're very much flavored like Gluttons, but on mounts. So Gluttons, but a lot faster. You know, you're getting that extra 3 inches of movement from them, and then you're also getting that party trick which Warhammer Community mentioned, which is Unleash Hell really sucks against you. You can only be hit. You subtract 1 from wound rolls for attacks made with missile weapons in general that target the unit, and in addition. If that unit received the Unleash Hell command, it only wounds on an unmodified roll of a 6.
Wow.
So like that's really good. So like if you know you're gonna take an Unleash Hell, you throw them in first, and the person probably doesn't even spend the point.
Yeah, because you don't care.
Yeah, and like Keith mentioned, the non-hero monster trucks, for some reason, they're not elite. Like I mentioned earlier, I thought either that's an oversight, because really they should be able to give themselves an order. It's 2 ogres on a creature, or maybe it's just to try and make us take voice of the avalanche.
Yeah, or
Icefall Yetis are pretty much the same. They've got a 6-up ward now, which is kind of nice. So they do have a bit more survivability. But again, they're still Yetis. You know, you're going to have that one person in your local scene, maybe me, who's going to bring a load of Yetis because it's funny.
Yeah.
Because they've got the good kind of the 6-inch pile-in where, like, you don't have to be in combat. You can do it from outside of combat. So
and
you
because...
just, like, on them at your enemy, they like get to like 5 inches away, you just pile in for like a pseudo fight first.
And because you found a good 3D sculpt.
Yeah, I found a good 3D print for them, so I don't have to look at those god awful fight.
They're way worse than Gorgers.
And they're so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
They're so expensive.
And they're way
Please,
worse than
GW,
Gorgers.
give me new plastic models. I'll buy loads of them.
I mean, I've been saying that for years for school.
I'll throw money at them. I don't care. I don't care that I have 3D prints ready. I am ready to throw money at your AOS version of these plastic models. Please just get rid of this Finecast crap.
Yeah.
We've got the Fire Belly. He's got that cool spell, the Billowing Gash. He's got Cascading Fire Cloak, which is incredibly situational but kind of funny. That's does some damage in AoE around him, and also gives himself a 5-up ward after the fact.
Okay.
So sometimes does things. He's got a ranged attack, which is funny. You count the number of enemy models to a maximum of 10. 2's freeze, no rend, 1 damage. So like he's actually breathing fire on you. It's kind of funny. It's not hugely damaging, but it's nice to have. They've got the Morpot, which is the same as it was before. Well, it's not exactly the same as it was before. It used to give +1 to cast for Ogre Butchers. Now it's Ogre Wizards. So all the wizards get the bonus if you're within an inch.
Okay.
Other than that, you've got the same problematic deployment where it's like you've got to deploy outside of 3 inches of objectives, outside of 3 inches of terrain, wholly within your territory. So on some battle plans, this is like really hard to do because it is a pretty big terrain piece as well. Which is part of the reason why I was saying that for the grand strategy about filling the Morpot, like it's quite likely that the enemy player never even gets near it.
Yeah.
Ugh, no.
Honestly, though, they're not as bad as I remembered. They're actually not
How
that
much
bad.
have you drunk, Rob?
I haven't drunk anything except for water.
How much are they in Canada?
They're in Canada, $65 for 3.
$65 for that.
I mean, that's compared to Skaven Acolytes, which are like 29 years old, and they cost $100 for a unit of 5. 1 unit of 5.
But with Skaven Acolytes, I could murder the person because they're made of metal, aren't
Yeah,
they?
you just put them in a sock, and then you just keep
put them in a sock and I can kill someone with them.
Yeah.
These aren't even useful for that.
Yeah. They give you bad dreams.
Yeah. So that's the book overall. I'm really excited to play the book. I love it. I love that there's new cover artwork. The cover artwork is gorgeous.
Yeah, you're one of the chosen.
Yeah. This new cover artwork is gorgeous. I've not got around to reading the lore yet, but there's some new artwork actually in the book, I believe. Definitely. There's some new lore in the book as well, so I'm excited to read that. So like not just on a Warstar perspective, I like this book. I'm very happy with this book as a destruction player. Yeah,
I'm kind of jealous. I think it's
I think
pretty awesome.
I think the Ogres players are going to be quite excited as well because the monster truck players get to play with their monster trucks. Their monster trucks have gotten better because they've got like more monster truck flavor.
Yep.
And the Gutbusters side of the army, those players finally are recognized because they were always struggling, and now they've got really viable ways to play.
And
on top of that, you can be super greedy, like I was in my battle report with Rob, and you can go, hey, what happens if I had like 4 Iron Blasters, but then I added a Frost Lord and Stonehook?
Yeah.
So I can have the best of both worlds.
And you had Noblars.
Yeah, and I had Noblars.
And you had
you can't go without Noblars, Rob. They're so great.
No, I 100% agree.
The best part for this GHB, at least, is they're not even battle line, so they're not Galatian veterans.
Oh,
so you're not getting your bounty hunters bonus against them. Hey, it's a screen that can sometimes survive in front of an Avalanor.
And you know what? Like, this book, it might not have a perfect internal balance, but it is deep.
Yes, yeah. It's got a lot of interesting play in it that I think will last a player a while.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think it's one of the better ones for having like a variety of lists to play.
Yeah.
For me, it's nice to see a destruction book come out that isn't being slapped for being destruction.
Yes.
Because like when Oryx came out, like the Cruel Boys were like, and cool. Then it felt like the Savage Boys got slapped a bit.
It did until people realized that they were actually like the best.
But then they got slapped again. They got recently FAQ'd. Yeah. And then even the new Sons book, it kind of felt like they were knocked about a bit. So the fact that the Ogres books come out and it's like, oh, well, actually, this has got, some play and some interest and some options. It's viable.
Yeah.
It makes me like hopeful for the Gits book that's going to come. Where it's like, are we going to have something that's going to be viable? I don't want something that's going to be OP. I want something that's just going to be like, hey, I want my 55%, whatever it is, bracket, and then I've actually got a chance of playing and doing okay with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing about this as a destruction player is, so our destruction books tend to have a lot of hey, they're a wacky destruction player, have some casino mechanics.
Yeah.
We do have a few casino mechanics in this, but they're not taking away from the book.
Totally.
They're adding flavor to the book, and the book, it still has reliability built into it. Like, you're still getting what you pay for. Like, Cruel Boys had that real problem for me of you were paying out the nose for the poison proc. And the whole time you were playing the army, it was very much a you get lucky or you sink.
Yeah.
If you get lucky, it's no fun for your opponent because you are going to kick out so many mortal wounds, you're going to slaughter them. Yeah. Sometimes at range, sometimes in melee, whatever, however you were doing it, that's great. But if you weren't rolling those mortal wounds, or if you weren't meeting those certain situations to activate those abilities, it was just pants.
Yeah.
So I really feel, like Dale said, they've sort of hit the nail with this one. You know, you've got your destruction fun, but we've also gotten, it's like fun that's sensible at the same time.
Totally.
Yeah, because a lot of the time destruction, like they just ramp up the fun factor from like the casino standpoint, but then they go, oh, but the power of this casino potentially is so high that we're actually going to have to point it in and nerf them preemptively because they might happen to roll really high.
Totally.
I mean, my best example of that would be the Price of Kragnos. Definitely includes his ability to just kill monsters on the charge.
So just do 36 mortal wounds. It's like, but that's not normal.
The reality in a game is that if you're playing against a competent opponent and they have the option, he's never going to get the choice of charging a monster. He's always going to charge something else. But you're still paying for that ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's 100% it. And it's like, you know, and I mean, I don't want to harp, like, because Gits are getting a new book, so it's like I'm literally not complaining about it. I'm not even using this part of the book that I'm going to talk about. But Alex used to run Gits. He had a full Squig army.
Yeah.
And you really liked the Squig Hoppers and the Boingrob's Bounders.
Yeah.
But it's just like, but their movement is 2d6, and I know from playing the Hell Pit for the past 6 years that, like, random movement is the worst.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the worst.
So I think normally I'd agree with you. But I think initially when I had the Squigs, I was really happy to have the random movement because the whole army was to that level of insanity.
Yeah.
So you knew what you were getting going in, for a start. And secondly, I distinctly remember, and it's one of my favorite things, I was playing with Eric, and he commented that he can't make up a plan of how to counter me because I didn't myself even know what I was going to do until I rolled the dice for the movement.
Yeah, but then...
So he was having problems setting up positioning to, like, counter charges and stuff like that because it's like, how far is Squig's going to move? Who knows? They're going to move 3 inches this turn. They might move 24 inches. You know, something absurd.
But they, like,
yes, it made it terrible for tournament play and consistency.
Yes,
but it made it really fun. I think having a army like that is nice. I just don't think every army in an entire Grand Alliance should be like that.
If they want to do random movement anytime, that's cool. It just should never be 2d6. It should be 3 plus d6, or it should be 5 plus d6, or whatever you want. Yeah.
We need to have a minimum that isn't just ones on the dice roll.
Exactly. Yeah. Because
that's part of the reason it worked for me with pure Squiggle Launch. And that was because No, you had. Well, it wasn't. You did have the reroll, but was it the Loom Boss on Mango Squig or the Loom Boss on Giant Cave Squig?
Giant
You had a
Cave Squig.
command. You had a command ability that gave +3 inches to the
3.
movement.
Yeah.
So I
That's
felt
the
like
Loom Boss on Squig.
Yeah.
so I felt like I did have the 2d6 +3.
Yeah.
But admittedly, it was costing me a command point every time.
Exactly.
In reality, that should just be baked in.
It should be. Exactly.
Or I should be able to choose a command trait that gives
I mean,
me
that was just shame of battalions, because like I got Squigs when 2.0 was a thing, and like you could do the Squivalanche, it was like a 1-drop thing. Squigs did +1 damage when they charged, and you could re-roll your movement or charge. You know what? Re-roll the random.
That's a great point. It is worth pointing out that Gloomspite Gets, when it came out, it was like the worst book with the best battalions at the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what made them viable.
Yeah.
And then as soon as 3.0 came out, it removed all the battalions. So you're suddenly in a position of where my Squigs no longer do the +1 damage on the charge. They no longer have the you can still do the sub-faction where you get the rerolls, but because they're still in the position where you have to pay the artifact and the command ability tax for that, it's just not worth it. It's like
those
I would
were
rather,
new too.
I would rather just go straight Gits and not have to pay that, and then just go with the dice roll and whatever.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, my defense is just that I understand that too much casino is bad.
Yeah.
But I think from the perspective of a Grand Alliance, too much casino is bad. But having one crazy army that happens to all be casino craziness, that I'm fine with that. Just as long as the purchaser knows what they're getting before they go into it.
I think
that's why I was so excited about Squigalanche when I owned it originally.
I used to love Night Goblins in Warhammer Fantasy.
God, why am I talking about Squigalanche? I want to buy it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the new Squivalanche set. It's like, to be honest, the Squivalanche set is a great box set. If I hadn't already got all that stuff anyway in
my God,
I wouldn't need more.
If you go to the GW website for Canada, on the pre-orders for the Battle Force boxes, every single one is in stock except the Squigalanche.
Yeah,
it's a great box set. Yeah, it's a really good starting set if you're wanting to do Squigs and Gits. But like in Warhammer Fantasy, like I loved Night Goblins for the randomness, because you like the fanatics were like completely random, and they could be amazingly deadly, or they could do absolutely nothing and hit your own lines, or just roll doubles and die. Like Doom Divers were like this unit that could be a unit that would wipe off a unit of knights in a shot, or it would just do nothing. It would be like that. And that's what I loved about Gits, where it's like I loved having an army that was either gonna do something and it'd be amazing and it would absolutely destroy someone, or you'd end up wiping out half your own army, but then you own that. It was like, okay, well, I'm playing Night Goblins, that's what I expect to happen.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel that's the shame with the current Gits, where they just don't really have that kind of randomness. It's a case of like, oh, you do this stuff, but like it's not really like got that chance of being like, oh, like jumping out and just doing something amazing.
They need to do it
being amazing.
They need to do it like Skaven. Like Skaven, Eric nailed it. And I think that I think ogres are not quite casino. Like, just to bring ogres kind of back into the conversation, it's good that they're not like, but they're not one of those armies that should feel like that. Like, whereas Skaven should feel like this casino, like Eric said, if you roll well with Skaven, they should be the best army in the game, and if you roll poorly, they should be the worst, right? And I've heard people say, like, that's every army. No, it's not. Like, they should be, like, on the extreme end of that bell curve, right?
And it's so much fun when it happens, when it's like, when you lose a game and it's because your army just, like, exploded. It's such a funny story to tell. It's like, oh, yeah, I was doing really well until suddenly this happened. Like, my fanatics went through half my own army. Yeah, it's just, you don't get that.
It's great to hear from a Skaven player that it's like, oh yeah, overcharged all my cannons. I was going to wipe out his big dragon or whatever. Yeah. But then they all blew up.
They all blew up turn one.
I rolled a 5 and then rolled like 4 1s or something. And it's like, well, yeah, that's the dice rolls you roll.
But that's the fun of it. And like, if you go to like the Skaven chats, and someone was like, yeah, like I didn't overcharge my cannon. Everyone's just like, what are you doing, man? Like, what are you even here for? He's like, but guys, it would lose me the game. It was a guaranteed lose if I lose the game. It's like, why did you come and tell us this? No one cares. No one wants to hear your excuses. The Great Horned Rat doesn't. We just disown you.
No one wants to hear about how you tried to use this army to win.
Yeah, to win. Like, what are you even here for? Why are you playing Skaven?
Yeah.
For the models? Like, I don't think so, guy. You know, these models are older than most of the players. So
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
I'm
anyway.
actually going out for drinks tomorrow with the Skaven acolytes.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. And their kids who can also drink.
Yeah.
What? But anyway.
Yeah. So this is an exciting book. I'm excited for the players who get to play it as well. Particularly our local scene. Our local scene up in BC. There's going to be ogres everywhere. When I first started AOS, there were ogres everywhere. Yep. They were terrible at the time. BC Claw Raiders were terrible at the time, but they were everywhere because everyone in BC loves them for some reason.
Everyone in BC loves destruction.
Yeah, we have a lot of
destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I think we had one event in BC where we were like 40% Iron Jaws players.
Yeah. You know what it
like
is,
not
though?
just destruction, Iron Jaws.
You know what it is, though? Honestly, like I actually think that it points out to how awesome it is here. Like how the players in BC want to have a laugh, want to have fun, and destruction is where Skaven and destruction, like those are the two.
Yeah. Stop trying to get Skaven in on this, Rob.
But it's true, though.
You're just trying to shoot on Skaven. Don't get on the destruction train. This is the destruction train.
You should be painting your spiders.
I am. What do you mean? I just finished them.
Hurry up painting your spiders.
And
Rob, you know what's the new book's gonna come out, and you're gonna be like, why did I ever look at Skaven? Why was I ever a Skaven?
Why do I even own Skaven? Why did I spend that time even painting an Ivan army?
That's heresy.
I just painted more spiders.
No, like, okay, I can't step away from Skaven, like, even just for nostalgia factor, but...
That's because you bought so many dice.
Nice.
It's money investment at this point.
They're chef's kiss.
Your whole brand is based on Skaven.
I might get. My brand is actually. That's what's crazy. So like, I still haven't brought in the actual logo is a Kraken, but I love my rat head so much that I just like I can't do anything about it.
But the Saga and Lifefix site is that little warp cracked out.
Man, I love spiders though. Like that was I had like a full spider army like 4 or 5 years ago, and then. But like the local meta is also quite competitive, and I was just like, I'm never gonna get to use this. But I got them all back. I got 10 spiders done, but I need to do the bases. So I just picked up the these things at Magic Stronghold, and they're like the silicone molds for ovals. So it's gonna be on.
I saw some of your those have been fantastic for your bases where you're using like resin water effects. They're incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, I absolutely love these molds. It makes
I'm not sure if you're doing it for the Patreons or maybe just a video in general, but I would definitely personally love to see a video on how to do that, because I've used some water effects before myself, but my water effects have never come out like as crisp and as clean. And a lot of the time when I'm trying to do painting nowadays, personally, that's a nice hand though, Dale.
Yeah, that's a really
I'm trying to get this stupid photo.
Your hand, Dale, is chef's kiss.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a crisp, clean effect, and I love it, and I would like to see how to do that.
I appreciate that very much. I used to use the Vallejo Stillwater, and yeah, it never came out. So
yeah, that's the one I use. So that's probably why I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I was there too. So
yeah.
So hopefully it's. Yeah, I mean, I actually started making a video on how I did the splash effects on these guys.
That's incredible as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I think this is the one thing that I might just do better than anyone out there is the splash effects. So. I'm making a video. I'm working on it. It might be Patreon only. I haven't decided yet. But
yeah,
those hobby videos take so long to
make. You need to do
a
sexy teaser video.
That's a good idea. Like to sell it.
like a camera
Yeah.
just like sweeping in from different angles.
You gotta
You get the
do it
water
to
effects.
Wham's,
And then like as it's sweeping across, you can have words appear that like how to do
Yeah.
water effects.
Yeah.
How to
Patreon
do
only.
Splash.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I'll set it to splish splash.
On
I'm
Rob's
taking a bath.
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
Time
need-
for Rob's OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
Where he's
And then
gonna show us water sports.
The Splash Zone.
And
Dun,
now
dun,
Rob
dun.
just got banned off YouTube.
do you like do you like ugly pale green bodies? Is for your OnlyFans, and then it's
we
just
have
gifs?
the local meta for you.
Yeah. Oh man. I've been blackballed.
Pasty white guys.
I've been blackballed on YouTube. It's happened. And I'm not surprised at all that it was Alex that got me there.
Yeah.
If you guys have ever seen, what was the first video where you went up against Rob Taunts? It's like,
Oh,
what did you play?
was that no, it wasn't my Fire Slayers video. I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, I was doing something dodgy.
Yeah, it was. I think it was
We had
Stormcast.
to edit the video multiple times
Yes.
because I
Yeah.
kept doing dodgy things on the camera, and Rob was having to like edit them out, and even then he didn't get all of them.
No, I couldn't. I would have had to just delete the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, the intro is pretty funny though.
Hey, Dale, is Parker around?
She has taken herself off to the bedroom.
I was gonna say we could do a goodbye with Parker.
No, I let her out. One of the times I've vanished off camera, I let her in the garden, but then I had to like brush the steps from snow because there was like 6 inches of snow on the steps.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And then she
yeah.
was like running around them, but she's kind of taken herself off the bed now. So
Yeah.
Dang.
Okay.
No
well,
disco dog. Make sure disco dog
Yeah.
gets lots of.
no
press.
no disco dog.
Yeah. That's a good one, Keith. Well, thanks to everyone for stuck around for this another 2.5 hour show. Like Alex is like, yeah, let's make it a short one tonight, and I was like, hey, that's all on you, man.
I mean, yes, we made the actual book shorter, but we ended up talking crap at the beginning.
Yeah, I think we've probably, like, even during the episode, I think we probably talked about like at least half an hour to 45 minutes of random stuff. So
And
Yeah.
it always comes back to Gits. I apologize to everyone.
Yeah.
I'll try to timestamp it
Gits
if
and
possible,
Gits.
but this is coming at the end of the video, so.
just
Yeah.
wait until the Gits book come out. We have
Oh
spend, like,
my God.
5 hour talk about how stupid Gits are in general.
Yeah, I usually have like a.
Get ready for keyword bingo, because
Yeah.
here it comes again.
It's like every single Gits rule is going to be like that General's Handbook command ability. It's like, if on the light of the bad moon you have this within range of this, and a hamster runs across the battlefield, and then you roll a 6, and then that's going to
Yeah.
be awful.
Each page is going to have its own podcast episode where we do a deep dive on arcane or on like artifacts or whatever, and then it's
Yeah.
like the next one. Oh man, yeah, it's going to be a freaking bonanza when that does happen. But I can't wait. I'm super
Yeah.
excited. So
Okay. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah.
And
No, thank you for watching.
listening to the show, and thanks everyone for watching and interacting. We had some fantastic interaction during this show.
people have made some excellent,
with some
amazing.
great
Yeah,
ideas.
thank
some,
you to Romulan Dog for his comments as well. And
correcting me when I got things wrong. The last thing I want to do on a show like this is state the rules wrong. So I really appreciate it. When
But you know
somebody
what
corrects.
though? Like you do great, Alex, because the book is just out, and you know what I mean. Like
yeah, imagine having a channel where you did battle reports and you did the rules wrong. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
who would do
Rob.
that? The show is
Ah,
over.
God.